distribution of political power in this country for the next 10 years, because they will both help determine how seats are drawn, both in Congress, in state legislatures, and even in local elected bodies across the country. And the census case will help determine how billions of dollars in federal money are distributed.
That's correspondent Mark Sherman. Looks like motorists in one part of the country will have to dig a bit deeper when they fill their tanks.
Gas prices in the Northeast are likely to rise over the next few weeks as a result of a refinery explosion in Philadelphia. The 150-year-old refinery suffered an explosion on Friday, and analysts say the interruption of production will impact gas prices throughout the Northeast for several weeks.
Correspondent Wally Hines. On Wall Street this morning, Dow futures are up 59 points. S&P futures better by 7. NASDAQ futures 25 points higher ahead of this morning's opening bell. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Stuck in traffic? We've got the answer on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
Flooding still a problem. We've got Maryland Heights Expressway still down to one lane in both directions between Creve Coeur Airport Road and Creve Coeur Mill Road. And we've got some road work causing problems. 2 right lanes closed on 55 eastbound from the Poplar Street Bridge to the King Bridge split until July 3rd with that construction. Riverview Drive in St. Louis remains closed both ways between Hall and 270 with flooding. Midday road work today, 9 to 3. You'll see construction on eastbound and westbound 6440 on the Boone Bridge, but right now we are accident-free. On 1380 and 105.3 The Answer, online at theanswerstl.com.
1380 The Answer. Weather.
Today, a shower or thunderstorm around this morning, otherwise breezy with clouds giving way to some sun, high 82. Clear tonight, low 64. Tomorrow, partly sunny and warmer, high 90. Partly cloudy tomorrow night, low 70. For Wednesday, very warm with a mix of clouds and sun, high 89. I'm Cheryl Golden with your St. Louis Metro forecast on 1380 and 105.3 The Answer.
Joe Walsh describes why Congress is putting Trump in a tough spot.
Trump's got a big problem. He got elected promising to do something about our border.
The Democrats up on Capitol Hill, they're not going to do anything.
In Trump's defense, by the way, the Republicans up on Capitol Hill, they're gutless and cowardly when it comes to our border, too. So Trump's got a big problem.
The Joe Walsh radio program. Weeknights at 8 on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer. Breaking news. Stimulating talk.
When is a pencil more than a pencil? When it takes me from art class
to gallery walls worldwide. Staples is your back-to-school destination. Find all the supplies you need, plus a ton of inspiration. Come in store this week for our 50-cent deals. Staples composition books, 2 Pocket Poly folders, packs of 12 yellow number 2 pencils, and packs of 24 Crayola crayons are all 50 cents each. Staples, back to school and beyond. While supplies last, offer ends 8/3/19, in-store only. Limit 5 on pencils, limit 30 on compotes and crayons.
You know that maintaining your home indoors and out means working with the best brands. Lowe's helps you do it right by carrying trusted names like John Deere and Craftsman, and we help you save on them too. Now when you buy a John Deere Z-Track zero-turn mower, get a $200 Lowe's gift card via mail-in rebate. And you can get your choice of a Craftsman 20-volt max cordless string trimmer or a Craftsman 2-tool 20-volt max power tool combo kit for $99. Do it right for less. Start with Lowe's. Offers valid through 6/26 U.S. only. John Deere offer excludes California, Alaska, and Hawaii.
Quit eating burgers off a coffee table. If you want to eat a burger, put it on a bar. Fresh, juicy beef smashed till it's crispy around the edges, covered in gooey cheese, and stacked to the ceiling with deliciousness. Follow your instincts to Buffalo Wild Wings for the new All-American Cheeseburger.
Common Sense Radio with Allman in the morning on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
Give me land, lots of land, and the starry skies above. Don't fence me in. Let me ride through the wide open country that I love. Don't fence me in. Let me be by myself in the evening breeze. Listen to the murmur of the cottonwood trees. Send me off forever, but I ask you please. Don't fence me in. Don't fence me in. Just turn me loose, let me straddle my own saddle underneath the western skies. On my cayuse, let me wander over yonder till I see the mountains rise. I want to ride to the ridge where the west commences, gaze at the moon until I lose my senses. I can't look at hovels and I can't step fences. Don't fence me in.
Yes. Good morning this morning. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Good morning this morning. I mean, how could it not be a good morning this morning? Good morning. I'm back in town. I'm back on terra firma. I'm back in St. Louis, y'all. What's going on, yo? What's up, y'all? What's up, y'all? I was just in, what's up, y'all? What you doing? I was just in Santa Barbara, California, man. That's a good town right there. Santa Barbara, California. And California itself is, I'm telling you, it is a beautiful state. And Santa Barbara is great. I thought maybe because Santa Barbara really never gets above 70 degrees or so, it seems. But, man, when the sun is out, that place is rocking. Even when the sun's not out, for whatever reason, I like a 67 degrees here in St. Louis is intolerable. I feel like it should be snowing. But for whatever reason, 67 degrees out there, I don't know. But something's about Santa Barbara that I am totally digging. And I love the place. And we were at the Young America's Foundation Youth Conference. And there were some parent activities. One of them was going to the Reagan Ranch, which, I will never forget that experience going to the Reagan Ranch. And Rancho del Cielo, the Heaven's Ranch is what it is. And it is a gorgeous place. It's a little like, I know you picture it like this big, gigantic place, but it has a Graceland feel to it. Do you know what I mean? I'm sorry. Did I already ask you this before, Phil? Have you ever been to Graceland?
I have not.
Okay. Well, if you go to Graceland, it's like a house in Olivet. It's like a ranch house in Olivet. It's not big. It just is not opulent. But boy, I'll tell you what, it is beautiful, and it is the whole land is gorgeous. And this must have been part of the reason why Ronald Reagan was so relaxed all the time, is that he had his place out there, man. And this was one heck of a place, and I really appreciated the experience of going to the ranch. And I'll tell you more about it. But this is where basically you were able to see Reagan the man, as opposed to Reagan the president, where you go to the library, you go to that place, and you see all the, Air Force One and all that kind of stuff. But this is where you kind of got a sense of Reagan the man. And I'll tell you, it was crazy. That dude, all the fences around there, the big fences around there, he built himself out of old utility poles. He had a couple guys helping him, obviously, but they're old utility poles. They used to have the wires on them, but they took them and he made fences out of them, and it just was really great. And I think the unbelievably charming element of it too, of course, is the extenuation of what you could see as his relationship with Nancy, which was just beautiful and great as far as obviously that we could see, and clearly they were devoted to each other, and it was just really fabulous to watch. It was great. While I was there, I also appreciated St. Louis in a different formulation, and that is that I posted this because I said when I saw the video of people cheering Albert Pujols when he was in town here, I basically said that I believe St. Louisans are pretty much close to perfect people in terms of being nice people. I mean, and by the way, Californians aren't too bad either. It's shocking that state pooped out Nancy Pelosi because for the most part, you're like, why do all these nuts come from here? But again, I was in Santa Barbara. It was more of a relaxed atmosphere. It's kind of more hippy-dippy, And my cab driver was Nate, hey, man, what's up? Hey, and Ron, And they're all kind of, I don't know what it is. But you just kind of, when I get into town, normally it takes me about a half a day before I've peg people who are going to be mine for the next, 4 days or so. Not mine as in property, but just kind of I'm going to have a relationship with. And I hooked up with this Ron Goodman and his cab company. I was like all over the joint with him and his people. But I'll tell you what, though, this Albert Pujols thing, St. Louis, since last night, this is really actually kind of funny. Last night, the crowd was actually hoping he was going to hit a grand slam against their team. That's how crazy it was. Like the bases were loaded. I think Trout slowed himself down at third just to keep the bases loaded. So Albert comes up, and all of St. Louis has their video cameras out, their iPhones out, to try to see if Albert Pujols will hit a grand slam home run against their team. And they're all like, they're like, they don't even care. They're like, I don't know what place they're in anyway. Do we? Cubs are in first place. I know that's infuriating. But these guys were cheering Albert Pujols to hit a grand slam against their own team. It was outstanding. And he was really moved by it. And he and Yanni, that relationship they have there, it was just cool all over the joint. So I really appreciated that from St. Louis. But anyway, had a great time there. The Young America's Foundation is a great organization. It's kind of known as YAF. It was actually created by Ronald Reagan and William Buckley and Barry Goldwater, actually, too. And it's designed to invigorate youth. I actually don't think that the left has one of these. Conferences. And there had to be 300 kids there. Aiden was the youngest. There were a couple people with him, obviously, a couple kids like him. His roommate was from Chicago. But there were 300 kids there. And I honestly do not think the left has anything like this. I think it's just called school. You know what I mean? It's called high school. Because that's how indoctrinated these kids have been, and these kids get it's called public school is what the I'll tell you what, though, private school too. So Aiden wants to form a YAF chapter here in St. Louis, and so he's all about it. And he met Ben Shapiro was the first speaker, and listen, I don't have. Ben and I have kind of an off and again, on again relationship. I didn't appreciate his never Trumpism. I think he's way over the top on this Iran thing. I think he's right about the Josh Hawley tech thing. So, I mean, we can all have disagreements within our family. That's all good. You know what I mean? I get it. I understand. I don't think that I wouldn't call him a traitor or something like that, but he was the speaker there. Todd Starnes, ran into him. And as I put on Facebook, Todd says hello and wishes he could be back on the show, but since he's not a Fox affiliate, he can't be on the show, which is crazy because I'm the one who got him on the air. You know what I mean? He was obviously with Fox News, but I'm the one that heard one of his reports one day and said, I got to have this guy on my show. And he came to St. Louis that way, and he still is over there. They're still utilizing him over there, and Carafano and those guys. I mean, everybody I brought to the thing, they still use. But Carafano's at least on with me, and that's all good. Anyway, good morning this morning, everybody. How are all of you? You can call me at 844-855-1380, the calltammy.com real estate listener line. I have no problem with how President Trump is handling any of this stuff. I have no problem with this Iran thing. I mean, I know that, it's interesting when they look at what's going on in terms of how things are progressing regarding his Iran policy. I told Aiden yesterday, because we were talking about this, and I said President Trump needs to kind of maintain his own beat of the drum here, because he's not going to have Republicans on his side for the most part. And the media is never going to support him. The media will always take up the side of the enemy. Always. It's guaranteed. And, oh, by the way, did you see that Jim Acosta's book is number 363 on the Amazon sell list? You know, it's one of the books that's beating him is Fahrenheit 451, which has been for sale for 30 years. Jim Acosta is such an idiot and an enemy, and nobody likes his book either. Fahrenheit 451. I think name a book. I guarantee you, name a book. It's probably ahead of him on the Amazon bestseller list. What a drip that dude is. But anyway, I told Aiden, I said, it doesn't matter what the president does. The media is always going to take the side of whoever the president is against. It doesn't matter who it is. So with Iran, and Chris Wallace kind of dabbled around in it, because he's trying to. They always try to make these comparisons. Here's what they always try to do. They always try to make you out to be a hypocrite. And they want to ask you, well, you didn't like it when Obama did the red line. It's so easy to predict. You didn't like it when Obama did the red line, did you? Well, is this a red line moment? Because that's what Chris Wallace was doing when he was on with Tom Cotton, who would cotton none of that. Senator Cotton didn't, and he's basically. By the way, I have this Mediaite thing. They have this commercial.
You are a traveler.
Listen to this.
Sometimes a jet setter, other times a tourist, but always, always moving. Away makes luggage that can keep up, that powers you up.
This is luggage that charges your phone. There's no way that's going to work.
This is luggage made for the way you actually travel.
I mean, obviously, I do want a phone charger, but airports all have phone chargers. Why do you need your luggage to charge your phone?
Try a suitcase for 100 days at awaytravel.com.
I'll try it for 100 days.
Pressure campaign.
I might do that for 100 days. Because I'll tell you one thing, I have a really hard time keeping my stupid phone charged for whatever reason. It's got that little pill in it, the poison pill that Apple puts in all their products that makes them die in front of your eyes eventually. So you're like, I don't know. I have the iPhone 10. I think I might need the iPhone 10s now. It doesn't seem to hold a charge anymore. But I don't know, a suitcase with a charger on it, something still has to charge the suitcase, right? Like a charger doesn't just exist by itself. Like, I know that you have to plug in that darn suitcase. Is that not true, Phil? Like, somehow that suitcase doesn't just come with a charger that's just charges. So you have to charge the suitcase. You think? Right? Okay, so you have to charge that. I don't know how this whole thing works, but I've never known a charger just to kind of like come out of nowhere. But the suitcase has to be charged. So somewhere along the line, before you go, you have to plug in the suitcase somewhere. And I don't see how that works positively in any circumstance, because you got to plug your suitcase in. Then eventually your suitcase loses the charge, right? Eventually so imagine having this suitcase that you're all happy about. It charges your phone. Wait till your suitcase dies. So really all that's being created is something else to die on you. That's really what it's all about. Something else to stress you out more. Damn. And then you know what will happen is, instead of charging their phones, people are going to start to charge their suitcases at these charging stations, if they ever have these suitcases. But they have to charge the suitcases. Sorry, I got to go plug in my suitcase. That's what's going to be happening. So you go to one of these kiosks or whatever, and somebody's suitcase is going to be sitting there, unattended. Then they're going to call the police. It's going to be unattended baggage being charged. It's like, oh, Lord. And by the way, is that safe? The whole, like, as a suitcase with a charger in it? Something that, I don't know. Maybe it is. Who knows? All I know is I made sure I took my 45 out of my bag before I went through TSA, and I made it. I'll tell you that. TSA, they're great. They're great people. They worked out really well. I had to carry this equipment that basically looks like a bomb. to do the radio show from my hotel room. And I'm telling you, I should bring it in. I should show you. I should bring it. I mean, it's in my car. Is it? No, it's not. Darn it. It's at home. But anyway, this thing that I broadcast with looks like a time bomb. Man, it looks like like Warner Brothers made my piece of machinery for. It's like it was like a Bugs Bunny Warner Brothers standard issue time bomb. And they're like looking at it, going, "What is that?" Like, and of course, one time I didn't actually take it out separately, so that caused a big to-do. And I was kind of there for a while, but flew United for the first time. I'm going to get to this Chris Wallace thing and say I got to take a break and do all that other mother jazz. You know what I mean, people? That's just how things operate around the Allman in the Morning show. Everything just gets out of my hands. It's like, now I got to find the national anthem and everything else. But I flew United for the first time, and it was okay. Their baggage thing is terrible. Like, I waited. It took me longer to fly to get my bags than it took to fly from San Francisco to St. Louis. It really didn't, but it seemed like it. Don't go on a. Oh, excuse me, national anthem. I didn't mean to talk over you, but no, it's United's great. We were on a plane that, of course, their internet didn't work on the way to San Francisco, which is not a big deal. I'm not bothered by that. But on the back, they had the situation where on the way back, and then we get to the baggage, and it's like, what are you guys doing? Where are our bags? It's taking forever for you. And they're telling us it's O'Hare, and the St. Louis airport, believe me, is frustrating for a lot of people. I'm just telling you, we don't have a really good look at that place. I don't know what it is, but it's not a good look on St. Louis. I'll talk more about that, too. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, and your phone calls are welcome to 844-855-1380, the calltammy.com real estate listener line. I'd love to talk to you, but without further ado, our national anthem.
More Allman in the Morning coming up on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer. Stuck in traffic? We've got the answer on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
A pretty good-looking start to our Monday morning rush hour. No accidents, no delays. We've got some road work out there today. 2 right lanes closed on 55 eastbound from the Poplar Street Bridge to the King Bridge split until July 3rd. Flooding still an issue in St. Louis. Riverview Drive is still closed both ways between Hall and 270. And Maryland Heights Expressway remains closed in both directions between is down to 1 lane both directions between Creve Coeur Airport Road and Creve Coeur Mill Road, with flooding there as well. And that's traffic. I'm Bonnie Green on 1380 and 105.3 The Answer, online at theanswerstl.com.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something. I talk about the James Hardy fiber cement siding and banner construction. Well, let me tell you something. Even though James Hardy is the hardiest kind of siding you have, imagine having Rhino Shield as the cover for it, or any kind of siding you happen to have. Imagine having Rhino Shield, which is a thick coat. I'm talking about curing 8 to 10 times thicker than regular paint. It's 100% waterproof. When it comes to keeping all of your businesses, your vacation homes, your churches, or your home locked down and completely airtight and preserves it in ways you can't imagine. Rhino Shield is the way to go. They've got thousands of installs in Missouri alone and then nationwide. Everybody loves it, and it's perfect for your home, business, condo, your church, whatever. If you have something that you want to be maintenance-free for the rest of its life, Rhino Shield is the way to go. And this is how I'm going to be talking to you in terms of a 15% offer right now for you coming from my friends at Rhino Shield. Right now, it's the Allman and Blues Appreciation Special. So, we still have that glow of the Blues Stanley Cup victory on our side, right? So here's how you can do it. You just simply mention my name when you call Rhino Shield to say, hey, I want that Allman Blues offer, which you're talking about there. It's 15% off. Obviously, this is not really going to last because, listen, we love the Blues and everything else, but this deal is not going to last long. So I encourage you to go ahead and get in while you can. 877-25-RHINO, RHINO, 877-25-RHINO, or you go to 877-25rhino.com. And by the way, these guys, they've made appearances on This Old House, and they had the highest online ratings possible for anybody on the planet. A+ Better Business Bureau rating. You can't go wrong. Don't paint. Don't vinyl. Go Rhino, 877-25rhino.com.
Opening soon, the most amazing and user-friendly home exterior showroom in the entire Midwest. Arrowhead Building Supply's new St. Peter's facility simplifies life when it comes to choosing your new home exterior. Our 7,000 square foot showroom features a full-sized home as its centerpiece to give you a full perspective. It also includes the Arrowhead Cube home visualizer, allowing you to see what different products and colors will look like on your actual home before selections are made. Our massive product display wall is 100 feet long and 28 feet tall with more than 50 different roofing, siding, and stone ideas on display. Take the elevator up to the second floor mezzanine and view our show home at roof level. Learn and understand how exterior systems work, such as proper ventilation, and why they are so important to your home's health. While upstairs, visit our beautiful entry door interactive display and make an educated decision for your home's next entryway. Meet your contractor here or just come on in. You won't believe your eyes. ArrowheadBuildingSupply.com.
Quit eating burgers off a coffee table. If you want to eat a burger, put it on a bar. Fresh, juicy beef smashed till it's crispy around the edges, covered in gooey cheese, and stacked to the ceiling with deliciousness. Follow your instincts to Buffalo Wild Wings for the new All-American Cheeseburger.
America's First News with Matt Ray gets you up to speed mornings from 4 to 6, right before Allman in the Morning on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
Is in right now. He's going to answer for all the world's problems today. He's going to be held accountable for all that we're going through. Mayor Pete's having a little bit of a hard time there in South Bend, Indiana, because the blacks are finally saying, yeah, we got another white liberal on our hands. This is what it's all about. And so he's having tough times. So is Joe Biden. So we're going to make it tough for Mark when he comes in just a few. Your Common Sense radio station right here.
With SRN News, I'm Rich Thomason in Washington. Today is a day new economic sanctions on Iran take effect, punishment for last week's downing of a U.S. Navy drone. And today, the Iranian Navy chief is saying that his forces would not hesitate to do it again. Meanwhile, Secretary of State Pompeo is discussing Iran during a visit to Saudi Arabia. He arrived there earlier today. A handful of Supreme Court rulings expected out this week, 2 decisions of particular interest, cases involving the census and political gerrymandering. Looks like motorists in the Northeast will have to dig a bit deeper when they fill their tanks. Gas prices expected to rise in that part of the country, result of last week's big refinery fire in Philadelphia. Wall Street, Dow futures up 49 points, S&P futures 5 points higher, NASDAQ futures up 18. More details at srnnews.com.
Stuck in traffic? We've got the answer on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
A pretty good-looking start to our Monday morning rush hour. No accidents, no delays. We've got some road work out there today. 2 right lanes closed on 55 eastbound from the Poplar Street Bridge to the King Bridge split until July 3rd. Flooding still an issue in St. Louis. Riverview Drive is still closed both ways between Hall and 270. And Maryland Heights Expressway remains closed in both directions between is down to 1 lane both directions between Creve Coeur Airport Road and Creve Coeur Mill Road, with flooding there as well. And that's traffic. I'm Bonnie Green on 1380 and 105.3 The Answer, online at theanswerstl.com.
1380 The Answer. Weather.
Today, a shower or thunderstorm around this morning, otherwise breezy with clouds giving way to some sun, high 82. Clear tonight, low 64. Tomorrow, partly sunny and warmer, high 90. Partly cloudy tomorrow night, low 70. For Wednesday, very warm with a mix of clouds and sun, high 89. I'm Cheryl Golden with your St. Louis Metro forecast on 1380 and 105.3 The Answer.
Good morning this morning, everybody. Matthew Mitchell and the Matthew Mitchell Allstate Agency. You know what, folks? I'm just going to kind of lay it out here straight for you when it comes to the insurance business. And I guess you can hardly blame them, but insurance companies really don't want to pay your claim. That's the whole game here. If they can avoid paying your claim, that's what it's all about here. And so what they do is they'll try to trick you into getting low premiums and everything else, and their deductibles are sky high. And you don't find out until you make a claim. A lot of you who have been in this business for a while, in terms of the storms and all that kind of stuff, and you have hail damage. I know it was hailing the other day when I was in when I was in California, and so I heard about the hail and the weather and everything else. And so now you're in a situation where you've got damage to your home. You make your claim. You're like, oh, a $5,000 deduct. I didn't know that. Well, of course you didn't know that, because you were sucked in by the low premiums. That's how they know they can get you, because they know you're going to love the low premiums instead of the you don't even pay attention to the deductibles. With Matthew Mitchell and the Matthew Mitchell Allstate Agency, you're getting low premiums and low deductibles all at the same time. And so Allstate is a major publicly traded company, and it is a huge company, and it's because it has such a big clientele, not because they just simply are tricking people, because it's a huge clientele, because people are caught on that right now. So Matthew and his team, 70 years in the business behind him, they're ready to help you out. Get real with you when it comes to insurance. Even when it comes to your kid, they're not going to break the bank for a 16-year-old new driver. So they're going to take care of you that way as well. So check it out on the phone line, okay? It's 855-QUOTE-ME. It's the Matthew Mitchell Allstate Agency for your home, your auto, and even your life. It's the Matthew Mitchell Allstate Agency.
So you're getting ready to sell your house. You want it to look its best. You've gone through your checklist, almost ready, but wait. Does your home have curb appeal? If you're unsure, you should contact Michael Proctor of Proctor Drapery about shutters for your front-facing windows. Shutters have curb appeal, and they can go in any home. Shutters can change the whole look of the home. Give your home that curb appeal it needs by putting shutters in your front window. Blinds and shades do not make the same statement. Shutters are the new look for today. Michael Proctor specializes in Norman shutters. Have you seen the new modern look? Modern shutters have a wider louver and invisible style. So, whether it's traditional or modern, choose shutters for the new look today. Why wait? Schedule your in-home consultation with his mobile design unit. The one-on-one appointment will ensure the look is exactly what you need for your home. Contact Michael at proctordrapery.com. It's Proctor spelled like doctor.
Quit eating burgers off a coffee table. If you want to eat a burger, put it on a bar. Fresh, juicy beef smashed till it's crispy around the edges, covered in gooey cheese, and stacked to the ceiling with deliciousness. Follow your instincts to Buffalo Wild Wings for the new All-American Cheeseburger.
Hey, don't just listen to Allman in the Morning. See the show at theanswerstl.com. Now, more Allman in the Morning on 1380 and 105.3 The Answer.
She was morning and I was nighttime. one day woke up to find her lying beside my bed.
Come on, man. This is awesome.
Said, come take me. For
I mean, if you didn't know why, when Neil Diamond comes to town, every female on the planet is in attendance. This guy is a stud, dude. He does a live version of this. It's great, too. It's amazing.
You are the sun, I am the moon. You are the words, I am the tune. Play me.
Come on. It's Neil Diamond.
She sang to me.
This is a really great song, too. I really didn't even notice it until I just ran across it. I forgot. Like, you hear a song and, like, golly, I've been hearing this my entire life. Like, I had a Neil Diamond album when I was like 13 years old. I don't know why. Song Sung Blue was my Song Sung Blue. I don't know why I was so infatuated with Neil Diamond, but I knew it when I was that age that he was a go-getter in terms of his lyrics and everything else. Good morning this morning, everybody. Happy Monday to all of you. And ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, it's Mark Kaysen who's in the house today. Try not to hurry to get some bounce in your step, man. Let's get this thing going here. Dude, damn. You guys are you're like Republicans. You're just so lazy. Oh, now you're on that mic. Okay, it doesn't matter. Whatever mic you want. It's Mark Kaysen's. It's your time.
Breaking up is hard to do.
You captain into Neil?
Neil Diamond.
Oh, Neil, he wrote that, didn't he? Well, because I thought Captain and Tennille.
I mean, you talk about when you were a kid. I was a kid. You know how long ago that was? Oh, can't even count that far.
Let me tell you something. I was in the great state. I really think. Oh, by the way, somebody, some woman saying that Trump sexually assaulted her.
Yeah, 17.
Ho hum.
Number 17.
Yeah, ho hum. Nobody believes a word this chick is
saying. Oh, they believe it.
Oh, no, I don't believe it for a second.
Yeah, she's the 17th one, and let's not forget, he's on tape saying, I do assault women, and I love to do it, and they let me, he says.
It's so funny that Mark Kaysen is like a walking CNN, because CNN just played the soundbite while interviewing this chick on the this is the problem with all these allegations and all these people making these allegations, is that nobody believes him anymore because they lie all the time. And so nobody, this chick, Dr. Ford, is the biggest liar on the planet. And so to me, as a protector of women, as a person who protects the female in our society, I take it upon myself to be a protector of women. I resent the fact these people go on and lie all the time. Oh, what do we need men for? Is she's the author of the What Do We Need Men For book.
How many times have I told you that? Men are no good.
What do we need men for?
Yeah, men are no good.
Men are pivotal to our society like women are too. But here's the deal, though. So she's got a new book out now? I didn't even know that. Oh, my goodness gracious. So that's all. I want to talk some real issues with you here.
Sure.
Regarding, first of all, the ICE raids, okay? So it turns out, I was very surprised early on that Trump and Nancy Pelosi have this McMillan and wife thing going on. I don't know what it is, but they've got this relationship that I think is kind of filled with a level of tension, sexual tension, I believe. If you can believe me on that one.
Yeah, I have a hard time. I have a hard time buying that one.
There's something between those two that is some kind of thing where they have some relation. I'm not accusing them of having an affair.
No,
what
I
I'm
know.
saying is they have some kind of thing going on where I think some of this stuff is all play. And so this, it turns out that he was going to go and do all these raids on Sunday. He decides to hold off, and a brilliant move, by the way. Everybody's talking, oh, he's backing down. It's so funny how the media talks about how suddenly it's the second round of the Holocaust, and then when President Trump doesn't do it, they're like, you coward, you pansy. And it's like, wait, what is it that you want? So anyway, Nancy Pelosi apparently called him and said, please don't do that on Sunday. And so once he was able to have a interpreter find out what she was saying through her slurred stroke words, he finally figured it out. She said, don't do the raid. So he said, okay, I'll give you 2 weeks. Same thing he did with the declaration of emergency. He goes, I'll give you guys 2 weeks. Now, here's the deal. I didn't see this over the weekend. Did any Republican come out and say, I don't want this to happen at all? Did Roy Blunt go on the Sunday shows and talk about he not wanting this to happen? Anyway, so he gives it 2 weeks, which is a brilliant move because now it's in the hands of Congress. And so you keep in mind, these are people, by the way, these are not just some baby Huey Mexican out there. These are people who have already been through the process of being rejected by our country. Their asylum claims were rejected. Did you know that?
First of all, I don't buy it because nothing he says is ever true. And what about those kids at the border who are in cages, who are not being taken care of? MSNBC is trying to raise money now to take care of the kids because Donald Trump and Michael Pence refuse to take care of the kids.
So MSNBC is raising money. That ought to make urban blacks happy. Oh, I see you're raising money for people who don't even live here. Great. Thank you, MSNBC. That ought to help their ratings skyrocket, right?
Have you heard, and this is what gets me, and we talked about this last week when you were in California. You know, the things that are being said about different people and circumstances are really weird. For example, you know, Joe Biden is getting, you know, his butt kicked.
Yeah,
okay.
I think unjustly.
Which we both agree on
definitely,
that.
Yeah.
You know, but here's the thing. You know Donnie Deutsch?
Oh, yes, I do, unfortunately.
So Donnie Deutsch is now saying that it's terrible that AOC talked about concentration camps because it offends him as a Jew.
Yeah.
Well, no, I mean, all these people are offended. You know, first of all, you notice that, you know, Clyburn and John Lewis and Al Sharpton are all supporting Biden.
Yeah.
You know, so, you know, they're saying,
no, I think,
this is
I
nothing.
think he's getting screwed on that whole
Yeah.
thing. I do.
But
But that's typical leftism, though.
But this is all tied in with this thing at the border that you're talking about because, you know, AOC called them concentration camps, which I think they are. I think that's fair.
No, it's not fair. But you guys, it doesn't seem nothing. You guys always make these kinds of comparisons, and Donnie Deutsch, just because he took time out from snorting coke, decides he's going to talk about how he doesn't like that. Nobody even pays attention to him. Back to Joe Biden, though. Did you? This crime bill thing is another thing that Joe Biden's being unjustly accused of, like being racist for. Okay, so the crime bill was everybody was in support of this crime bill back in '94, Republicans and Democrats, right? But now there's not, but libertarians don't like it, and I understand all that. But keep in mind, all this stuff that Joe Biden's being criticized for, it's almost like when Hillary Clinton had her ads that were anti-Trump ads. Every time she had an ad, it just made me love him even more. Donald Trump is blah, blah, blah. It's like, that's fantastic. Donald Trump is... Oh, I'm like, that's fantastic. I'm wondering whether there's some plot to actually get Joe Biden the nomination, because every time there's a criticism of it, it's over something that a lot of people generally support. We talked about the whole busing thing, right?
Sure.
Listen to him from back in, this is 1992. Here's Joe Biden, everybody. Good morning this morning. About the crime bill. And by the way, how did Joe Biden suddenly get hair? How'd that happen?
He went to the doctor.
He
no,
did?
really? Yeah, he had plugs.
He's bald as a cue
No,
ball in this thing.
he had hair transplanted. That's true.
Oh, okay.
That's, yeah.
Well, whoever did the transplant, it's a pretty good job, to tell you the truth. Because, I mean, Joe Biden doesn't look like he has fake hair. So whoever did that is pretty good at what they did. I don't know who that was, but whoever did that, I would never in a million years do that. But
Never.
nonetheless, whoever did that is pretty good at it.
No,
'Cause
it is good.
He's balder than a baldy. He looks like Bozo the Clown here. I'm not kidding you.
No,
man.
you're
He's got-
right.
He's
No,
got
that-
like, he looks. At least I have some hair on the top of my head still, but he looks like he looks like Bozo.
No,
he does.
Well, I guess that's why he had the transplants done.
Yeah. Who's your favorite clown?
Listening.
Bozo the Clown. Yes, that's right, everybody. Okay, here's Joe Biden on the floor of the U.S. Senate.
Let me tell you what is in the bill. And I'll let you all decide whether or not this is weak. Let me get down here a compendium of the things that are in the bill.
92. It's from 92.
1, the death penalty. It provides 53 death penalty offenses. Weak as can be, you know? We do everything but hang people for jaywalking in this bill.
I mean, that's now suddenly getting a lot of angst among the left, and you know what? Even for that matter, among the right. But the reality is, everybody supported the crime bill in 1994.
But if you remember, Bill Clinton said this bill is very flawed. It's really a problem. We're doing things we should never do to harm people. But he said we're going to fix it later. Now, they never did fix it later. So, the Democrats were forced into this bill because they felt that if they didn't do it, they were going to look weak. You heard Biden. I mean, it was a political thing. The Democrats never liked this bill, but they went along with it. They pushed it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't think that's going to be an adequate defense if there's people have a problem with it. It doesn't reflect well on a party that just we just kind of went along. I mean, Clinton was president at the time.
And he said it's no good. Look, and in fact, because I used to argue about this with Onion Horton all the time, and Onion Horton said, the people who are pushing this bill are racists, and Bill Clinton said, it's a lousy bill, but we're going to do it. We have to.
Yeah, well, I mean, the problem is, you can just go ahead and turn my iPad down for a second. I got to get through this this luggage thing that charges your phone commercial. Whenever I have a soundbite from Mediaite, they always do the luggage you plug in your phone for, which I just can't it confounds me as to how that's going to work. It's kind of like, I still don't understand why people are pursuing meatless meat. That's also beyond the realm of comprehension for me as well. I wonder what the pork producers and all the beef association think about this push towards meatless meat.
Well, you remember the last strip steaks that we just had?
Yes.
Okay, at dinner.
Yes.
And I have to tell you, and I was commenting, that this Beyond Meat company. Can you imagine? And they don't make these, but can you imagine making a strip steak that's out of vegetables? I mean, it's ridiculous.
I don't understand even the appeal of it.
No,
I don't understand why people
not to me.
They just don't eat meat. I mean, but why try to trick yourself into eating something? I don't understand the allure of meatless meat. It doesn't make any sense to me.
It's loaded with sodium. It's loaded with fat. It's loaded with calories. I'll tell you.
It's loaded with fat?
Yeah. It's no bargain. Because they have to put all this stuff in it in order to make it taste like meat.
Well, I didn't know it was loaded with fat.
Yeah, it's loaded with everything.
Just making that up?
No, it's loaded with everything. It's
meatless
bad.
Meat is. I know that there are calories. I didn't know there's no fat in it, though.
Yeah, I think if you check it, you'll find out there is. But it doesn't really matter.
Point.
It's not good.
I don't think Mark just made that up.
Well, you can look it up.
It's loaded with fat.
If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. If I'm
plant.
wrong, it'll be the first time I was ever wrong.
I don't know, man. That's
doesn't sound right.
I
man.
could be
it's
wrong.
made out of plants, dude.
Yeah, it's not
plant's
healthy.
not loaded with fat. I know, but it's not loaded with fat.
Okay. Well, I don't know, and you don't know, and I said
I know.
But we'll find out.
Wait a minute, I know.
We're gonna look it up.
Don't tell me I don't know.
Okay.
Look it up.
Phil,
I'm sure there's a chart someplace.
No, Phil's got the Google machine back there.
I'll check it out. But you were telling me earlier about the cheeseburger that charges your phone, bro, and I'm not buying this. I'm not buying this rap with you, man. I'm Googling
not
it right
anymore,
now.
Man.
Right.
What are you going to accuse Donald Trump of sexually assaulting you next? Donald Trump sexually assaulted me when I was 17.
17 women.
When I was a 17-year-old hot surfer boy.
Yeah, 17 women are lying, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. Thanks for saying that. Because you took the words right out of my mouth. 844-855-1380. The call, Tammy.com. Real estate listener. We'll be back with Mark Kaysen straight ahead.
More Allman in the Morning coming up on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer. Stuck in traffic? We've got the answer on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
Flooding is still an issue out there, and so is construction. We've got 55 eastbound with 2 right lanes closed from the Poplar Street Bridge to the King Bridge split. Now, that's until July 3rd, so not too much longer on that one. Midday road work coming up today, 9 to 3. You'll see construction on eastbound and westbound 6440 on the Boone Bridge. And 270 northbound. That is our first delay, just starting to get tight. Doherty Ferry to Manchester, not a big problem there, but we are still accident-free. That's traffic. I'm Bonnie Green. On 1380 and 105.3 The Answer, online at theanswerstl.com.
Well, folks, let me tell you something about Michael's Flooring Outlet and how amazing this guy is. You're $500 off the bat the minute you go to the website, michaelsflooringoutlet.com. So you're already ahead of the game with $500 off your next project. I don't try to get sly with him like, oh, I know, I'll just do a $500 floor job then, and it'll be free. It's like, it doesn't work that way, but still, it's $500 off. So when it comes to your carpeting, when it comes to your vinyl flooring, when it comes to your ceramic tiling, I mean, you just can't lose. And we're going to have a few samples back here behind us. Eventually, you're going to see what it's all about, what the luxury vinyl looks like. That's an amazing bit here. So if sometimes you are in a situation where you are wanting to pull the trigger on a nice, good wood flooring job, but maybe you're only going to be in a house for 5-10 years, the luxury vinyl is a perfect way to go around that, because if you don't want to pay full boat for the wood flooring, then there's a chance the luxury vinyl will replace it, because it looks just like wood. It's amazing all the different kind of avenues you have there. So Michael's Flooring Outlet is not only great when it comes to variety, when it comes to quality, when it comes to looks and everything else. He's great when it comes to installation and warranties and customer service. There's nobody that beats him in the flooring business when it comes to customer service. And all you have to do is go online and put him through the old spanking machine, and you'll find out exactly what he can do for you. michaelsflooringoutlet.com with $500 off your next project. michaelsflooringoutlet.com.
KXFN St. Louis, K287BY St. Louis.
I'm Chuck McDowell, CEO of Wesley Financial Group and timeshare cancellation advocate. I was sued by the largest timeshare company in federal court for simply helping people cancel their timeshare that they had been lied to about. The jury sized me up and came back with a verdict after only 20 minutes. And yes, I won.
My husband and I are more than grateful to everyone at Wesley Financial Group. You know, thanks to Chuck and his team, we feel as though a weight has been lifted and we can move on without the worry of a troublesome timeshare.
Whether you owe $10,000 to $250,000 on your timeshare, it's my mission to get you out of your timeshare, eliminate your payments, and get them off your back permanently. And we proudly hold an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau.
Want to learn more about getting rid of your troublesome timeshare? Call Wesley Financial Group now for your free consultation. Call 800-653-1188. That's 800-653-1188. 800-653-1188.
Quit eating burgers off a coffee table. If you want to eat a burger, put it on a bar. Fresh, juicy beef smashed till it's crispy around the edges, covered in gooey cheese, and stacked to the ceiling with deliciousness. Follow your instincts to Buffalo Wild Wings for the new All-American Cheeseburger.
Dennis Prager, this morning at 11. Now, more Common Sense Radio with Allman in the Morning on 13.
fat.
How was?
Because I did a whole thing about that meatless burger that Burger King is doing, which
Fat.
is the amazing, the Whopper that isn't.
Impossible.
The Impossible Whopper. But, yeah, see, I'm not a marketing genius. I know what we'll call it, the Whopper that isn't. It's like, no, Jamie, you're fired. But no, I looked at the whole calorie count and everything else, and the calorie count and fat counts were not much different. I understand that.
Right. It's got 34 grams of fat, and half of the calories come from fat.
Well, where does the fat come from, though?
Is
it good fat?
They inject it.
No, they don't.
No, they do. They put it in. Listen, this is a chemical concoction.
Yeah, I get it.
That I'm afraid to even think about that people eat this stuff.
Well,
but
is it a fat replacer? Because I know that, like, for instance, fat-free salad dressings that you eat, and then you eat them, and you're on the toilet like 20 minutes later. It's like, remember Olestra? Remember the Olestra potato chip? Oh, this is great. I'm going to eat a whole bag of potato chips with Olestra, and it just turns out that all it does is like go right through your intestine and out your, and you're on the toilet half the time because people would eat this Olestra stuff. So I'm wondering whether or not, like in salad dressings that are fat-free, they have to put in something that gives you the feeling of the fat, and it's alginates. It's the kind of stuff that they make that they lubricate oil field drills with, and you're eating that. So I wonder if that's the kind of fat you're talking about. I don't know.
I mean, you just got to eat healthy is what you have to do, and you can try to play all the games you want. It doesn't work. You just have to eat healthy food.
Yeah, well, you know what? You know who else is playing games? Joe Biden, when he compares Trump's election to the assassination of Martin Luther King. So I'll defend Biden on a number of levels. There's no excuse for this. We'll talk about this with Mark Kaysen straight ahead. It's Common Sense Radio, 844-855-1380.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. Seeking to build an international coalition against Iran, Secretary of State Pompeo has arrived in Saudi Arabia. Pompeo says he'll be talking to officials of various Persian Gulf nations, as well as countries in Asia and Europe. And Pompeo isn't the only senior Trump administration official who's on the road.
Neither Iran nor any other hostile actor should mistake U.S. prudence and discretion for weakness.
That was National Security Advisor John Bolton speaking in Israel Sunday alongside Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. While President Trump called off airstrikes last week that he says Bolton was advocating, U.S. officials say he simultaneously gave the U.S. military a go-ahead for cyber attacks, targeting Iranian military computer systems that control its rocket and missile launchers. Meanwhile, Bolton says the economic pressure will continue.
We expect that the new sanctions President Trump referred to in preparation for some weeks will be announced publicly on Monday. Stay tuned.
Ben Thomas, Washington.
Violence flared again over the weekend in South Bend, Indiana, the city where Democrat presidential hopeful Pete Buttigieg is mayor. One person killed in a shooting, 10 others wounded in shootings in various spots. And later yesterday, Buttigieg faced criticism at a town hall meeting from citizens upset about the shooting of a black man by a white police officer a week ago. So how's the economy doing? We'll find out soon.
Economic reports ahead this week include updates on home prices and new home sales tomorrow, as well as the Conference Board releasing its Consumer Confidence Index for June, and FedEx will release its quarterly financial results.
That's correspondent Wally Hines. On Wall Street this morning, futures pointing to a higher open. Dow futures up 60 points. S&P futures 6 points higher. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Stuck in traffic? We've got the answer on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
Well, we did have an early morning accident, but it has already been cleared. You're still seeing the delay, though. 55 northbound. Stop and go between Potomac Street and 44. That crash was on the exit ramp there. We've got a slow spot on 270 northbound, Doherty Ferry to Manchester. Westbound 367 to New Florissant has tightened up a bit. And we've got a slow spot on 55 westbound between 64 and the King Bridge split. Now, 2 right lanes are closed on eastbound 55 from the Poplar Street Bridge to the King Bridge split with roadwork. That's traffic. I'm Bonnie Green. On 1380 and 105.3 The Answer, online at theanswerstl.com.
1380 The Answer. Weather.
Today, a shower or thunderstorm around this morning. Otherwise breezy with clouds giving way to some sun, high 82. Clear tonight, low 64. Tomorrow, partly sunny and warmer, high 90. Partly cloudy tomorrow night, low 70. For Wednesday, very warm with a mix of clouds and sun, high 89. I'm Cheryl Golden with your St. Louis Metro forecast on 1380 and 105.3 The Answer.
Dana Lash.
Bernie Sanders is right now trying to sell the country on socialism, and he's trying to say democratic socialism, which is a moronic phrase invented by people who don't have the balls to claim socialism because they know it's bad, but they still want to be socialists anyway. Never, ever let anyone tell you that that's a legitimate phrase. That's like the time I had to tell my stepdad that Junior Missy isn't actually a classification of female clothes.
The Dana Show, weekdays at 1 on 1380 and 105.3 The Answer.
Never paint again. This is Darren, owner of Rhino Shield. Want to eliminate painting your home, business, or church? Call the experts at Rhino Shield. Rhino Shield is a revolutionary ceramic wall coating to regular paint and vinyl. Perfect for aluminum, steel, unpainted brick, block, stucco, ephes, drive-it, cement board, and wood sidings. Rhino Shield eliminates wasting time and money painting year after year. Our ceramic coating deflects 90% of the sun's UV rays and 100% of the moisture. Our clients want affordable protection with the elimination of maintenance. Rhino Shield protects your biggest investment while maintaining your architectural features and gives you the curb appeal you deserve. Make your home great again by working with the Rhino Shield experts. A+ rated with the BBB. Call 877-25-RHINO, 877-25-RHINO, or 877-25rhino.com. See what we did there? Genius. Tell them, ladies.
Go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Quit eating burgers off a coffee table. If you want to eat a burger, put it on a bar. Fresh, juicy beef smashed till it's crispy around the edges, covered in gooey cheese, and stacked to the ceiling with deliciousness. Follow your instincts to Buffalo Wild Wings for the new All-American Cheeseburger.
Common Sense Radio with Allman in the morning on 1380 and 105.3 The Answer.
Good morning and happy Monday to all of you. I have to tell you that Mark Hasten, I really have to give a shout out to the left-wingers out there because Aiden not only wore his Make America Great Again sweatshirt to the conference out in Santa Barbara. I mean, and we flew from St. Louis to San Francisco, had like a 2-hour layover in San Francisco, wandering around everywhere with his Make America Great Again hoodie on. I mean, this was red and white. This was not just like a different color Make America Great Again thing, okay? So he's wearing that from St. Louis to San Francisco, from San Francisco to Santa Barbara. He then wears it again coming back from Santa Barbara to St. Louis and then St. Louis to San Francisco to St. Louis. Not one person, I mean, I think I sensed a couple people might have been a little confused or triggered, but not one person said a negative word to the kid. Not one. I mean, and didn't even treat him differently or whatever. Or the only person that said one thing, it was a guy at the San Francisco airport who came up to him or walked by and said, "Way to go, kid." And that was pretty much it at the San Francisco airport. No one said a word to him, and it kind of restored it showed me that I think a lot of the people who are out there, I think a lot of it's kind of trumped up. And we're seeing obviously people who are knocking hats off and that kind of thing. But generally, I was really kind of amazed. I was a little worried about it. I didn't want to say anything to him about it. I certainly wasn't going to tell him on our way to a conference where he was going to learn to be a fighter for conservative ideals and to stand up for himself and to stand up for conservatism and against socialism and be a young, energetic conservative. I wasn't going to start the trip by telling him to take his sweatshirt off just in case. So, I mean, it occurred to me because I was worried about him, but he's even big. Now he's 14. He's like bigger than I am, so I don't think anyone's going to mess with him. But nonetheless, I was actually very encouraged by that. I felt really good about the fact that nobody even seemingly gave him a dirty look or anything.
In California, we generally are more concerned, especially in Santa Barbara, we're more concerned about when the next waves are coming in. We're not worried about the rest of this nonsense.
I get it.
And by the way, all you have to do is send Aiden, who's 14, that's a great age, send him out to University of California, Santa Cruz. When you get him back, he'll be just like me.
Yeah, he's going to Hillsdale College. Is where he's going. We're going to have those all over the joint by when all said and done, and that's kind of the thing, because you actually, I told people earlier, I said, the left really doesn't have a youth movement like conservatives do, and then I realized, oh no, I'm sorry, we have to actually set up these things because the left's movement actually is in the high schools and in the colleges, so they do have a conference, but it's everyday classroom attendance.
No
is what
question.
Their conference
No,
is.
that is true. And especially in California. Now, there's no question. California creates an environment that, I mean, just look at all the numbers that come out of there. It's just the way it is.
Look at all the dimwits that come out of there, like Nancy Pelosi. I mean, come on. These dingbats that they, and what's his name? Here, this guy, Yang. Yeah, he's here. NBC once again began their whole big idea thing. And so this guy who is running for president, and Yang, you know who he is?
Yeah, the guy he brought out the old McGovern deal. We're going to give everybody some money.
That worked well.
Yeah. It sure got him elected.
Let's bring out the McGovern thing.
Yeah.
I wonder who told him to do that.
Well.
So anyway, they went ahead and did an interview with Andrew Yang and his big idea. And the NBC News guys are all touting all these big ideas, which are just basically ideas that are taken from the New Deal blueprint or whatever it happens to be. And keep in mind, there might be young people who are inclined, because I got in a conversation with some of the parents out there at this conference, the Young America's Foundation conference, and some of the parents and their kids there, and we still couldn't figure out why socialism has such a hold. Why people like Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders are out there, and it actually people agree with them. I think it's because human beings are sometimes inherently inclined to be lazy. Like they if something can be done for them, they'll let it be done for them. It's kind of why it was so hard even during the American Revolution. There was a whole group of people who were not on board with this revolution thing. They're going, what if this doesn't work? I mean, some people were just living, even though they were caged birds who weren't able to fly, they were still living in an environment that was, well, I mean, it's our gulag, and so we might as well stay here and deal with it. It's kind of like why it was so hard, and I'm going off a tangent here, but that's why it was so hard to get Iraq, the people of Iraq to get going once we went over there, which is why regime changes don't always work, is because these individuals, even though Saddam Hussein was a terrible person, he was their terrible person, and they were even though they were imprisoned, they still kind of the prison was a secure environment for them. They had 3 squares a day. They had everything going for them. It's why when the Soviet Union broke up, Russia suddenly had this capitalistic trend, and now they're back to being commies again because people didn't like the freedom. So I know there's an inclination on the part of people, and there's also an inclination on the part of you all to take advantage of that, to exploit the tendency of human beings to want something for free. It's what you guys do, right?
It's going to take me all afternoon for the next 2 weeks to unwind what you've just said here. But look, these guys that you're claiming are for socialism are not. This is not even, this is just a right-wing attack deal.
Well, they call themselves socialists, though.
They say democratic socialists, which is far different. It's all about, as AOC says, it's all about Franklin Delano Roosevelt, capitalism, sensible regulations that we have put into place that protect everybody in this country and that none of you on the right could ever stand to get rid of, because you'd be so angry if you didn't have the protection that you've got. But then you talk against all of this.
Right. Democratic socialism is just like meatless meat. I mean, there just is no use. There's no reason for it. You guys are, we got an economy that is humming along. I mean, joblessness among blacks is at an all-time low, Mark. I mean, here's what I told Aiden, and this is what I told these parents. We talked about this. I said, if you hear Elizabeth Warren, this is where you get the so-called tell of socialism and what it's all about. Elizabeth Warren, when she comes out and says she wants to erase 95% of college debt for 95% of those with college debt, the first question you have to ask is, okay, why not 100%? So who will the 5% be who are the unlucky ones who don't have their loans erased? And that's where you really get right to the nub of socialism is. You realize that really what happens is it's all about taking from somebody and giving to somebody else. That's what it's all about, which is why Elizabeth Warren, if it's such a great idea, why not do it for 100%? Well, they can't because they want that 5%, according to their rules, to keep paying and also to take it from the rich.
It's not the nub of socialism, but I will say this. You're 100% right about what you're saying about Elizabeth Warren, because what is that 5% story? I agree, and I have said, and I have talked about this in my classes because I teach also economic history, and
Lord,
yeah,
you do to who?
And college students.
Oh,
and here's the deal: we are going to, no question in my mind, we're going to forgive every penny of those loans.
No, we're not.
Oh,
you can't.
All 1.5 trillion. In fact, you should go out. It's low interest rate stuff. You should go out and borrow all you can get your hands on, because trust me, no one's going to pay it back. And the reason that no one's going to pay it back is because it's the dumbest program that we ever came up with. Because what we should be doing is giving everybody free college education. And this game that we've played with the loans is going to come back and bite everybody because people can't afford to pay them.
Well, okay. There now you're reaching at something that is what happened when Democrats and Republicans got together and decided that they were going to create housing loans for everybody, and that blew up in their face because not everybody deserves to have a house. Because some of them can't pay for the house. So they put people in houses they couldn't afford, and then suddenly people stopped paying for the houses. Thus, the housing bubble burst. And this could be the same thing. But anyway, here's Andrew. This is Andrew Yang, who apparently thinks he's going to, NBC at least thinks he's going to be something, with his new idea, and it's called the freedom dividend.
Right.
So you even laugh
at
this.
It's ridiculous. It's not going to work.
Here, listen to him. The NBC loves this kind of stuff, though. They give this guy an entire forum and tell him his big idea.
What's your big idea? My big idea is a freedom dividend of $1,000 a month for every American adult starting at age 18.
Andrew Yang is a business entrepreneur turned provocateur.
Now, normally you hear that, and you would think that once he says that there'd be some kind of laugh track. Like, except Harry Smith decides he's going to go and take it seriously. You know what I mean? Here, I'll replay it for you the way I would do the story. Here, listen.
Strategy.
My big idea is a freedom dividend of $1,000 a month for every American adult starting at age 18.
That's what I would do if I did the story.
I think George McGovern may have won one state, didn't he? Did he win Massachusetts?
Where is he from?
South Dakota.
I think he won that. I don't think maybe he didn't even win his home state.
I don't know.
I mean,
this is ridiculous.
Well, let's have Harry Smith explain it, because Harry Smith, instead of laughing, takes it completely seriously.
Andrew Yang is a business entrepreneur turned provocateur who embraces data-driven strategies.
Hello, New York City!
Yang
Hello,
says his
Andrew.
program is needed because 1 in 3 American jobs is at risk of being eliminated by new technology within the next 12 years.
Why is it always 12 years? I mean,
Yeah.
AOC says the Earth's going to end in 12 years. He's saying 1 in 3 people are going to be replaced by your people, robots, in 12 years. What is it about the 12-year thing?
Well, the robots are no joke, and really, what I'm going to do, and I'm going to do it, I think this week, is get some people from Rethink Robotics, who I've spent a lot of time talking with, and get them to come on the program to talk. But I got to
what's the purpose behind Rethink Robotics? What's that
it's a
about?
company.
Okay, but
It's the name of the company.
Oh,
yeah.
Well,
and they have a personal robot that they sell for $22,000. Like, remember the personal computer started?
Yeah.
Right. It was $4,000, and then it went to, we pay nothing for them now. Well, you're going to be able to buy a personal computer. They call it Baxter, and it's your computer that will do all kinds of things for you. It's amazing.
Well, but I already have a computer that does all kinds
No,
of
I'm
things.
talking
for
about
me.
a robot. I'm sorry, a robot.
So
it's
it's
a
like
robot.
It's a being.
It's a robot. Yeah.
And what is it?
It walks with you. Yeah.
It does?
Yeah.
Oh, come on.
$22,000. They're working on it all over the country. MIT, Columbia University, all the big universities are working with these companies. Look, what's coming out of artificial intelligence is incredible. It's going to change the world in ways, and people, like I tell you, are not going to be these blue-collar workers. They're going to have college educations. They're going to do all kinds of really just great, exciting, innovative things. And that, instead of giving everybody $1,000 a month, we're going to educate people to change the world.
So also then I guess in 12 years then Elizabeth Warren will be suggesting free pre-K for all robots, right? Like the robot babies.
I mean, look, it's funny, but you could joke about it.
Yeah,
you
well,
know.
I don't see that. I think I see more organic developments of our economy right now, and it's certainly robots have been in place. I mean, we've made cars with robots forever now, but you still need human beings behind it,
Of course.
and which is why and you need
Operating
human
at
beings-
higher levels.
Yeah, I mean, so I don't understand how you, but this whole thing that by replaced by technology, part of the reason why here you got a guy who is probably supportive of the increase of the minimum wage. The trend is now is you go to some McDonald's now, they've got kiosks. They don't even have people there anymore.
That's right.
And that's because they got tired of hiring people who wound up on their day off marching outside of a McDonald's where they're employed, demanding $15 an hour.
I don't think that's the reason. I think part of the reason, though, unfortunately, is, which I also tell my students, you're going to agree with this one. If you're going into the workforce, the number one thing you need to be is reliable.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, you need to, when you say you're going to do a job, you
Right.
need to do it.
Right.
When you say you're going to go to work, you need to go to work.
Yeah.
I mean,
wish more left people talk like that. So,
Well,
by the way,
there are people who talk like
when you
that.
teach economic history, like how is it possible that you're actually giving a balanced view of economic? Do they say in the syllabus for your class that you're teaching
communist.
economic history from the left?
They said no.
Why not?
Because the truth is that when I'm in the classroom, I provide data, information. I mean, I don't get my information that I teach with kids from the Communist Manifesto.
But
I
you
get
still-
I get it from the Federal Reserve.
Yeah, but you're not kidding it, but you're still interpreting it from a left-wing point of view.
No, I just have a belief that government is tremendously valuable, and that really government is so good for us. That regulations are so important.
Yeah, you're like half the Republican Party right now. Yeah, I get it.
No, I'm like Teddy Roosevelt.
No, well, okay. Teddy Roosevelt had his merits, but he also had his demerits as well.
Well,
So-
everybody has
Yeah.
good and bad.
No, I agree. I thought when Ben Shapiro spoke to the kids on Wednesday night, I thought Shapiro made some good points, and he said, let's keep in mind there are a lot of good people with bad ideas, And there are some bad people with good ideas. And that's how we operate here, which is why, and we'll take this on a little later on about Facebook and the Josh Hawley thing. Somebody asked me a question. I'll discuss this at 7:30 for you. Somebody asked me a question on Facebook because they were confused about my stance on the Hawley censorship bill, which I actually don't agree with Hawley on this matter. I think he's a good guy, but I don't agree with him on this matter, so we'll talk more about that. I'm already over time. I know you got to go and brainwash people. Do you have tenure?
I'm at the university. I'm an adjunct. Okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So
one of those guys.
so that's not even an issue.
Yeah.
You know, but
can I be an adjunct professor, or do I need some kind of thing?
Do you have a master's?
Degree? A master's?
You got to at least have a master's.
No, I was too busy working. I don't have a master's degree.
You at least have to have a master's.
You do? You do?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But the thing
in what?
Education.
Oh, golly, that must.
And I'm finishing my PhD in educational psychology.
Wow, Dr. Kaysen.
Dr.
Professor Kaysen. That's going to be fun. I can't wait. I hope you. Well, I need you to get going then, because you're going to be a doctor soon. You better go and get that doctoring done.
Go do an operation, right?
Yeah, you're doctoring the minds of innocent humans is what you're doing now.
Federal Reserve, baby. I mean, that's
right.
If that's communism, I don't know what to tell you.
Where are we finding you later this afternoon? By the way,
talkstl.net. Which, I mean, Phil, oh my God, what a great job he does.
Oh, he does. He's great. Phil Valencia.
Valencia.
So you have, and what's it called? Look what's happening now? Or
that's good. I like that.
What is it?
Something's happening. But you don't know what it is, do you, Mr. Jones?
Do you have a maid in the show, or a fat black funny guy in it too? Is Rerun there?
You're hysterical at
Mark,
best.
Something's happening.
You're hysterical at best. That's okay.
All right, man. No, your show's good, buddy.
It is. It's fun. TalkSTL.net.
Okay. All right. You're the best, man. Go. Godspeed to you. 844-855-1380. Call Tammy.com. Real estate listener line.
Call the show at 844-855-1380 and interact with Jamie on the calltammy.com listener line.
That's 844-855-1380.
More Allman in the Morning next on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer. Stuck in traffic? We've got the answer on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
It's getting a little bit busier out there. We've got a heavy spot on 55 northbound Potomac to 44. 270 northbound slows, Gravois to Manchester, westbound 367 to New Florissant. You'll see some delays there. And we've got a slow spot on 55 westbound between 64 and the King Bridge split. And road work on 55 eastbound from the Poplar Street Bridge to the King Bridge split. 2 right lanes are closed there, and that's until July 3rd. But right now, we're accident-free. No problems in that regard. And that's traffic. I'm Bonnie Green on 1380 and 105.3 The Answer, online at theanswerstl.com.
ThrottleNet.com, and I got to tell you, these guys are fantastic at what they do when it comes to making sure your IT network is protected from the malware people, from the black hats out there who want so badly to get a hold of your customer information, your credit card numbers of your people, or health, and whatever it happens to be. These guys are after it, and if you have any kind of vulnerability at all, they'll exploit it because they're looking for you. They want to bring you down. ThrottleNet wants to bring you up and protect you and give you that kind of insulation. So they'll pretend to be the bad guys for a little bit once you become a client of theirs, and they'll start poking holes in your system, but then their job is filling up the holes, and they're going to make sure there aren't any holes there. They're also going to make sure your system is backed up. Do you guys, is your system backed up? Because a lot of people don't do it. They never think it's going to happen to them. Then it does, and your business can be brought to its knees in no time if you don't watch out. I want you to get a hold of these guys right away. They've expanded their reach. They're setting up new offices in Sunset Hills now because of how many people are getting on board with them. They've expanded, new hiring, everything else, and they have a 24/7 help desk as well. No one in town does that with the 24/7 help for you. ThrottleNet.com. That's ThrottleNet.com.
After severe storms roll through the area and you're left to deal with the damage, call Arrowhead Building Supply for the professional help you need. High winds and large hail can wreak havoc on a home's exterior very quickly, so never neglect or underestimate the possible damage left behind. Arrowhead is the preferred supplier to hundreds of quality contractor professionals who will treat your home just like their own. Don't leave your home's protection to just anyone. Our contractor customers are also our friends and partners. When severe weather hits, call Arrowhead Building Supply for relief. ArrowheadBuildingSupply.com.
Health insurance premiums making you sick? Hi, it's Mike Gallagher. I have the answer. Dryden Camus Insurance Agency serving Missouri and Illinois. This is non-Obamacare, and you can enroll anytime. You don't have to wait for open enrollment. Why should you have to pay for maternity coverage and pediatric dental care if you don't need it? KDDI-INS.com. KDDI-INS.com or call Joyce at 877-695-0245. 877-695-0245. This is the answer. This is the solution. KDDI-INS.com.
Quit eating burgers off a coffee table. If you want to eat a burger, put it on a bar. Fresh, juicy beef smashed till it's crispy around the edges, covered in gooey cheese, and stacked to the ceiling with deliciousness. Follow your instincts to Buffalo Wild Wings for the new All-American Cheeseburger.
Listen to Allman in the Morning with Alexa. Wake up and say, Alexa, play The Answer St. Louis. Now, back to Allman in the Morning on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
So yeah, I love the audience. You all challenged me, and Laureen sent me a Facebook message yesterday. I believe I was traveling, so I couldn't really get much into it. But she was questioning my questioning of the Josh Hawley censorship bill, and in fact, I think Jim Hoft might even be in a level of disagreement with me on this too, because he's been a victim of Facebook censorship and everything else. But I'll tell you why my stance is what it is about this. And if you agree or disagree, feel free to call me at 844-855-1380, 844-855-1380. It's the calltammy.com real estate listener line. Do you think Josh Hawley is on to something with his introduction of the anti-censorship bill? We'll talk about that straight ahead.
With SRN News, I'm Rich Thomason in Washington. Looking to build an international coalition against Iran, Secretary of State Pompeo is now in Saudi Arabia. Pompeo says he'll talk to officials of various Persian Gulf nations, as well as countries in Asia and Europe. Today, a fresh round of U.S. economic sanctions on Iran takes effect. This is retaliation for last week's downing of a U.S. Navy surveillance drone. Violence flaring again over the weekend in South Bend, Indiana, the city where Democrat presidential candidate Pete Buttigieg is mayor. One person killed in a shooting, 10 others wounded in shootings in South Bend. The Supreme Court expected to rule this week on a request from the Census Bureau to ask everyone in the country about their citizenship status. On Wall Street, stock futures pointing to a higher open. Dow futures up 64 points. S&P futures 6 points higher. More details at srnnews.com.
Stuck in traffic? We've got the answer on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
We have an accident this morning, 55 northbound, a left lane blocked after Arsenal Road, and you're starting to see brake lights back to Broadway. 270 northbound, that one heavy, Gravois to Manchester. Westbound, you'll see delays there, 367 to New Florissant. 55 eastbound, Poplar Street Bridge to the King Bridge split. You have 2 right lanes closed there until July 3rd. And westbound 55, 64 to the King Bridge split. That's backed up too. Midday work 9 to 3 on eastbound and westbound 64 on the Boone Bridge. That's traffic. I'm Bonnie Green. On 1380 and 105.3 The Answer, online at theanswerstl.com.
1380 The Answer. Weather.
Today, a shower or thunderstorm around this morning, otherwise breezy with clouds giving way to some sun, high 82. Clear tonight, low 64. Tomorrow, partly sunny and warmer, high 90. Partly cloudy tomorrow night, low 70. For Wednesday, very warm with a mix of clouds and sun, high 89. I'm Cheryl Golden with your St. Louis Metro forecast on 1380 and 105.3 The Answer.
Good morning this morning, everybody. Let me tell you something about my friends over at Arrowhead Building Supply. So, as we were just hearing about, the weather is kind of iffy. I don't know what it is about this June. It just reminds me of one summer when we just didn't seem to have a summer. So there are some people out there needing to get work done. And so what happens is you have a situation where this morning somebody might be looking at calling off the work day. And then suddenly at 10 o'clock this morning, it's like, oh, okay, so it's going to be sunny today. Okay, I get it. And suddenly they're bringing everybody back to work. Well, Arrowhead Building Supply is the kind of company that is going to roll with whatever changes you instill in your work pattern. So they have the whole emergency 315 guarantee for you. So what they can do for you is make it happen. Even if you've already called everybody off, if you change your mind, Arrowhead Building Supply will change with you. That's the key. And so what the deal is here is that they're able to help you out with a 315 guarantee, 3-hour delivery, and 15 minute resupplies for you as well. So you're going to not have to wait for it. So you're going to really love what Arrowhead Building Supply does for you in terms of kind of rolling with the punches with you. By the way, on top of that, if you're a homeowner, you love Arrowhead Building Supply because they're breaking out all the stops for you. They've got this new showroom going in. I can't wait for the official rollout of that because it's going to be great. The 7,000 square foot showroom with a home inside of it, just to make it really more convenient for you. And then you also have the situation where they are able to help you get a contractor because they have a contractor referral service, and they can help you visualize what you are seeing with whatever it happens to be, with the Outside Elegance line. With the Cube, you just put a picture of your home in there. You'll see what cedar shake will look like on your house, or what this roofing shingle will look like, or the guttering, whatever. You'll see what it actually will look like. So it's a great convenience for you as well. ArrowheadBuildingSupply.com. That's ArrowheadBuildingSupply.com.
This is Tammy with Tammy Mitchell Hines & Company Real Estate. We sell a house every 30 hours. Buying a home is a big decision and a big investment. It's where your child will take their first steps. It's where you will plant your first garden. It's where your family will enjoy Christmas mornings. Your new home is a place to go to escape the world. It's your home, and your memories start here. Let us help you get there. Go to calltammy.com. That's calltammy.com.
You've just become an empty nester. The kids have moved. You've been waiting for this moment. It's time to reinvest in your home. Your home is your safe haven. You've been thinking about adding shutters for quite some time, but you don't know which style would look best, and you're unsure of the cost. You've seen them in many homes, both modern and traditional. You're scared to do it yourself, and you should be. Don't go it alone. Contact Michael Proctor at Proctor Drapery. Michael is an interior designer with exceptional expertise when it comes to window treatments for your home. Michael is a top-tier Hunter Douglas priority dealer and your first choice for Norman Plantation shutters. Why wait? Schedule your in-home consultation with his mobile design unit. The one-on-one appointment will ensure the look is exactly what you need for your home. Contact Michael at proctordrapery.com. It's Proctor spelled like doctor.
Quit eating burgers off a coffee table. If you want to eat a burger, put it on a bar. Fresh, juicy beef smashed till it's crispy around the edges, covered in gooey cheese, and stacked to the ceiling with deliciousness. Follow your instincts to Buffalo Wild Wings for the new All-American Cheeseburger.
Hey, want to talk with Jamie? Call 844-855-1380.
844-855-1380.
And interact with Common Sense Radio. This is Allman in the Morning on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
Any minute now, my ship is coming in. I'll keep checking the horizon, and I'll stand on the bow and feel the waves come crashing.
Jim Hoft on the way. He'll be with me about 8 o'clock or so. Obviously, sad news to report with this police officer killed in Wellston. Should we hit the streets and burn something down? And is this even going to get covered in the way that it normally is? should be covered. It goes to show. I mean, I think that St. Louis has experienced a lot of these, Blake Snyder, and this idea somehow that police officers are the aggressors is really getting tiresome. And I know whatever happened in Memphis, that was a good kill there, and they still were rioting because they're egged on by all these activists out there. But unfortunately, there aren't too many activists who hit the streets on behalf of our law enforcement, and that's too bad. So, I'm going to talk more about that down the line because later on this morning, because there's some things I want to say about this, the death of this brave warrior out there on the streets. But it's apparently there's video of it too, but it's just not treated the same way when a police officer is a victim on a regular basis, and there's a strong possibility, and I don't know what all the circumstances are, but there's a strong possibility that this police officer, had he actually been able and felt maybe in his mind that he could do what's necessary to get the suspect taken care of, and maybe if he didn't have a hesitation in his mind that's created by all the dimwits out there who continually harass police officers and always want to put them at a disadvantage. Every time I see a police officer injured or killed or whatever, I always wonder whether it's the same thing with the American soldier overseas, where they're actually handcuffed themselves from being doing what they could do, everything they could possibly do to take care of the issue. And sometimes I wonder, some police officers, in order to actually get people, sometimes they have to be shot themselves before they can actually do anything. I'm really concerned about that. I do believe this isn't depolicing. These are police officers who have to tiptoe around everywhere because everybody's always kind of after them to try and see if they can somehow put them in a bind. And it's hard to be a law enforcement officer in this day and age now, with the kind of people looking over your shoulder and everything else. I'm not saying there aren't some police officers who might overdo it, whatever, but for the most part, they don't. And in fact, I don't think they do enough, and sometimes it gets them killed. I'm not saying this happened here because I don't know, but I hope it didn't. I hope this police officer felt like he was able to do everything he could to get this guy, but something tells me there was a little bit of a hesitation there. But we'll talk more about that. And your phone calls are welcome about this as well. The 844-855-1380. Call Tammy.com, real estate listener line. All right, so as I said earlier, and I completely am on board with President Trump's approach to what's been going on with Iran as well as with the ICE raids. And one of the things that I believe is important here is to understand the kind of game that President Trump is having to play with some of these entities here. And President Trump right now is on his own, and he knows it. And so he's acting pretty much like, you know what? The media is never going to help me, even though, you know what? He did an interview with Chuck Todd. You believe it? Here's the President Trump, who's basically the terrible man for the when it comes to the news media, and yet this is one of the most accessible presidents you're going to find anywhere. I mean, President Trump sitting down with Chuck Todd, he's a guy that generally you'd want to ignore, but you sit down with him. President Trump is more accessible to people than any president before him. More accessible to the news media, everything else. How these guys continually have their gripes with him is beyond me. And maybe that's why Jim Acosta is actually his book is number 363 on the Amazon selling list. I mean, there are books that have been on sale for 30 years that are beating his book because everybody knows he's making all this stuff up. He's no victim at all. But as I told Aiden when we talked a little bit about this, because he and I are kind of in these discussions, that it doesn't matter what happens. The news media will always take the side of whoever it is that is against President Trump. So they'll cozy up to Iran only because they're trying to protect Obama and John Kerry's legacy with Iran. So they'll cozy up to Iran. They'll cozy up. They'll take China's side in the trade war. They'll take Mexico's side when it comes to illegal immigrants. They'll take an illegal alien's side against this country. They care more about a Guatemalan who doesn't even live here yet than they do about the black guy living in North St. Louis. I'll tell you that. But they'll take the side of anybody who happens to be against President Trump. So he can't win, and he knows it. So he's making decisions a lot of times on the fly, but they're the right ones. Like the Iran thing. You know, these people are acting as if this is Chris Wallace, and I'll play that for you later, is acting as if this is President Trump's Obama red line moment. They're trying to always catch people in moments of hypocrisy. It's just like Obama. Remember, you all attacked Obama when he did this with Syria and blah, 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 blah. And maybe so. I don't even remember criticizing him for it. I wasn't among those people doing that because I'm not a warmonger. I don't like red lines. I don't like no-fly zones. I didn't agree with Sarah Palin and John McCain, who was bloodthirsty. They wanted a war with Syria like nobody's business. Remember those days? John McCain went there and met with these people, these terrorists. And Sarah Palin, I love her to death, but my goodness, we're talking about the no-fly zone and Marco Rubio and all those guys, the usual suspects. But I don't like those because if you have a no-fly zone, if somebody invades it, it's war. When you have a red line, if somebody crosses it, it's war. And it's interesting how Chris Wallace, when he talked to Senator Cotton about all this, it's interesting how Wallace acted like this was Obama's red line. And I'll get to it in a second here. Do you got my iPad off? So I need to get through the charge your phone suitcase commercial in order to play this for you. But keep in mind, President Trump never called it a red line. That's the one thing missing from all of this, is that Obama did, and Trump doesn't talk like that. Trump keeps all kinds of things in play here all the time. And that's the way he operates, and I agree with it. He wants to keep Iran guessing, and this is Wallace and Cotton. Here you go.
Very critical of President Obama's failure to enforce his red line against Syria after a chemical attack, saying that it raised questions about how strong U.S. security commitments and statements by the president were. President Trump has repeatedly gone after Mr. Obama on the same thing. Take a look.
When he didn't cross that line after making the threat, I think that set us back a long ways, not only in Syria, but in many other parts of the world, because it was a blank threat.
Does this run the risk of being President Trump's red line moment?
See, so they're always looking for ways to kind of catch people like Tom Cotton and others into this situation. Well, keep in mind, though, President Obama did call it basically a red line. President Trump has never said that if you do this, I'm going to do this. He has always said that if you do this, then all options are on the table. So the fact that the media is creating a red line for President Trump, to me, is not President Trump's red line. It's Chris Wallace's red line. And unfortunately, you know what? Really appreciate Ben Shapiro, but it's Ben Shapiro's red line. Since he's been in the news lately, people attacking him for being a warmonger. I've talked to Jim Talon about this Friday. And in fact, I talked to Aiden about it, too, on the way. We were talking a little bit about Iran. I said, one thing you have to be careful of is doing what your enemy wants you to do. And I'm telling you, Iran wants a war. And they want a war because they know how a war will be positioned. President Trump, and I'll let Tom Cotton answer Chris Wallace here in a second. One of the things you do is if Trump bombed Iran and killed some people, how do you think the news media would respond to that? What do you think would happen? They would automatically act like Iran's a victim because Iran is Obama's little baby. You know, he sent plane loads of cash over there, and so you must not do anything bad to Iran because Obama already solved the problem, right? By sending bucket loads of cash over there. Well, that didn't work, did it now? They're back to their old tricks. But Iran needs us to fight them. And when I talked to Aiden about it, he was like, well, why would that be? Well, because, you know, when you're in a leadership position and your country is going down the crap hole, a war is always something that will benefit you because it takes everybody's attention away from what's really going on, and you're able to use that. And plus, you have the entire mainstream media network on your side. CNN and NBC and CBS and ABC, some people even on Fox News, they'll all act like big old bad Donald Trump just attack little baby Iran. That's how it'll be couched. Have you heard a negative word said about Ahmadinejad by anybody in the news media at all? Have you heard a negative word about Iran? Every time President Trump makes a move on Iran, he has to defend it. So that's why he's doing what he's doing. He doesn't because he's no longer under this illusion that there are people who are going to kind of help him out. Where have the Republicans been on the matter? I know the ones when they disagree with him and they don't think he's doing the right thing, they'll come out. Lindsey Graham, I'm sure somebody will interview him and they'll talk tough and do whatever. But they always know exactly what they don't like, but they never support the guy. Tom Cotton does though. I like him.
No, Chris, I see some differences between the two situations. So first, President Obama's Syria policy was a mess. Second, he himself, in his own words, drew that red line. And then third, he failed to enforce it. Here, President Trump's Iran policy is working. It's probably the first time in 40 years where we've had the initiative against Iran. One reason they're lashing out is because of the maximum pressure campaign that has driven their economy to near depression levels of activity. Second, he had not drawn any such red line in his own language. He didn't take military strikes last week in an overt or conventional fashion, but he has said very clearly what we will not tolerate: Iran or its proxies making any kind of attack on American servicemen or citizens in the region. And he's also said that major sanctions are going to be added tomorrow, which is only going to increase the sanctions that they already face, which is one very positive result so far of the maximum pressure campaign.
Did you notice, by the way, that Cotton is exactly right about the red line, and he said the same thing I did, which is Chris Wallace drew the red line, not President Trump. Obama, stop with your luggage commercial. I get it. You can charge your phone with your luggage. I get it. Leave me alone. These luggage people are haunting me. They're all over me. I'm telling you. Look how sneaking in. Yeah. You could charge your phone with the luggage. Yeah, but then don't I have to charge the luggage? Yeah. You got to plug your luggage in. Yeah. Before you go, because if you don't, then your luggage, it's just another thing to crap out on you when you most need it, which is a problem. By the way, you guys were wondering why this light was, my thing is flickering. Because it's still listening to what, it's the Mark Kaysen lie detector. and it blinks when he lies. So that's why, and it's still blinking after all that thing he was saying. And it still is trying to get my attention. That my lava lamp always is actually the Mark Kaysen lie detector. That's why it's going blinking on and off. But even though he's not here yet, his lies still linger around the room, and the lava lamp can sense that. My lava lamp is spiritually cleansing the room on its own. Your phone calls are welcome. 844-855-1380. Call Tammy.com, real estate listener line.
More Allman in the Morning coming up on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer. Stuck in traffic? We've got the answer on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
One accident at this hour, northbound Clarkson at Baxter Road. We've got a crash there. Now, 55 northbound still just a little tight, Potomac to Arsenal after an earlier crash. We've got a slow spot on 270 northbound. Well, more than slow, it's jammed. Approaching Gravois to Manchester. Westbound 367 to New Florissant. That one's heavy, too. And 55 westbound, 64 to the King Bridge split. You'll see delays. Eastbound has 2 right lanes closed from the Poplar Street Bridge to the King Bridge split with roadwork until July 3rd. That's traffic. I'm Bonnie Green. On 1380 and 105.3 The Answer, online at theanswerstl.com.
Hey, folks, the Tammy Mitchell Hines and Company, those doors are open for you, and she's selling a home, she and her team, every 30 hours. She is the #1 independent real estate agent in southwestern Illinois, and boy, does she do it right. Her entire team is just locked down, well-trained, ready to go, whether you are selling a home or buying a home. She's going to get you into that home or out of it no matter what and into your dream home for you. She's going to throw in a moving van, which is kind of off the grid, but it's something that she did. A lot of people copy it, and that's great because it's a great idea. So she's all about great service for you, the homeowner, the home buyer, the home seller, and she's all about making sure her company, her people, are well taken care of too. So she gives them their own cars, pays for their insurance, pays for the car, pays for the gas, just so all they do is focus on getting your home sold or getting you to that dream home. So that's why she's the #1 independent real estate agent in southwestern Illinois. Also, that independence is really important to you because she doesn't have some mothership telling her what she has to do or can't do or whatever. So it doesn't matter whether your home is $1 million, whether it's $500,000, whether it's $100,000, she's able to help you and get you going, and she's going to be right there for you. CallTammy.com is the website, calltammy.com.
KXFN, St. Louis, K287BY, St. Louis.
Let's face it, things happen in our daily life that may get us off track. Tooth pain and aches can happen when we least expect them. Get back on track with a visit to Dr. Anna Smith of Dentistry with TLC. Dr. Anna prides herself on helping patients when it's convenient for them, even during lunch hours, and always providing a judgment-free office. Dr. Anna Smith with Dentistry with TLC is here to help. Need a root canal? Dr. Anna can perform the procedure in about 10 minutes and get you back on the road. Have sleep apnea? While you're there, talk to Dr. Anna about an oral appliance to help you get a better night's sleep and feel well rested the next day. Dr. Anna Smith with Dentistry with TLC, located in Godfrey, Illinois. Call today at 618-466-0733. That's 618-466-0733. Or visit dentistrywithtlc.com to learn the TLC difference. That's dentistrywithtlc.com.
If you're a business owner in St. Louis, ask yourself the following questions. What is your current IT provider doing to protect you against ransomware attacks? Do you know the status of your backups and if those backups are good in the event of an attack or a network failure? Do you know if your network is secure from internal and external threats? If you answered no to any of these, you need to call ThrottleNet today. ThrottleNet specializes in assisting businesses with their network support and security. Don't become fishbait. Visit ThrottleNet.com for your free external vulnerability scan and your free Don't Become Fishbait poster.
Quit eating burgers off a coffee table. If you want to eat a burger, put it on a bar. Fresh, juicy beef smashed till it's crispy around the edges, covered in gooey cheese, and stacked to the ceiling with deliciousness. Follow your instincts to Buffalo Wild Wings for the new All-American Cheeseburger.
Larry Elder, tonight at 5. Now, back to Allman in the Morning on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, good morning, Jamal. Jamal's on line 1. What's up, Jamal?
Good morning. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Let's say, hold on. Let me do it again. Good morning this morning.
Good morning this morning. Good morning this morning, Jamal.
Yes. That's right. That's right.
That's right.
Let me say this about Iran. Now, I'm not an expert, but I understand military strategies, things of that magnitude. So I understand why he didn't decide to attack them. I mean, let's look at the realistic thing. We can replace an $800 million drone, even though that's a lot of money, and that's taxpayer money. We can replace that. But 150 lives we can't replace.
Right.
The only reason I would say that we need to attack them is if they attack any military personnel. Say like they were F-16 flying over and he attacked and dropped the F-16 and killed the pilot. Okay, now we're looking at life for life.
Yep.
I can understand that now at that particular stage to attack them. But an $800 million drone can be replaced at any point in time. So when he looked at that picture, I can understand John Bolton and say, let's attack them, let's go get them. No, let's look at the bigger picture here. They only dropped the drone. We can replace the drone.
Right.
We can't replace that human life that we just took because of the fact of a drone. Now, Iran has a problem with the fact that we have all these sanctions against them, and these new sanctions is just pulled up today.
Mm-hmm.
So at this particular stage, we got to look at the fact that they're going to make some bigger attacks because their economy is dropping. And when you have when you bag a wounded dog or a wounded animal in the corner, it's going to attack. It's not going to just lie down and lay there. It's going to attack eventually.
Right on.
So Americans have to be prepared. We have to really be prepared for whatever comes at this particular stage and stand as a united front against that kind of situation, no matter what goes on. Because if we don't, they'll exploit it.
Yeah.
So that's what we need to really do.
Jamal, once again, brilliant analysis, and you're absolutely right. I think you reflect. I appreciate you calling the show, Jamal. I think Jamal reflects the attitude of many Americans. We don't have a stomach for war as much as we might have had before. We've seen this happen before, and I think President Trump is handling this perfectly at this stage. And it's so interesting how, President Trump has been accused of being a guy, he's going to start World War III. Then he doesn't bomb somebody, and the left and the media and some Republicans chump him out and make him look like a pansy. The guy can't win half the time, and I believe I totally agree with Jamal that at some point maybe we can just be Americans as a united front and trust the commander-in-chief instead of always looking for ways we're going to chump him out. Republicans included. It's Common Sense Radio.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. When it comes to Iran, Secretary of State Pompeo says the United States prefers dialogue to confrontation.
We're prepared to negotiate with no preconditions. They know precisely how to find us. And I am confident that at the very moment they're ready to truly engage with us, we'll be able to begin these conversations. I'm looking forward to that day. That the president has said repeatedly we want a brighter future for the people of the Islamic Republic of Iran. Those negotiations are the gateway. That's how we'll ultimately achieve this.
Pompeo is now in Saudi Arabia. It's his first stop on a visit to a number of countries in the Persian Gulf region and beyond. In retaliation for the downing of a U.S. Navy drone last week, fresh U.S. sanctions on Iran are to take effect today. Well, there's a new man in charge at the Pentagon.
Morning, sir. What's the first order of business? Morning.
Acting Defense Secretary Mark Esper greeted by reporters this morning as he showed up for his first day on the job. The National Transportation Safety Board is investigating Friday's crash of a skydiving plane in Hawaii. 11 people were killed.
We're here to determine how this happened, why it happened, so we can determine what safety measures are needed to prevent it from happening again.
NTSB member Jennifer Homendy. A meeting later in the week could go a long way toward resolving the U.S.-China trade standoff.
The G20 meeting in Osaka, Japan is going to be an opportunity for Chinese President Xi Jinping and U.S. President Donald Trump to meet and maybe hash out some of the issues that are dividing them along the lines of trade and technology.
That's correspondent Christopher Bodine in Beijing. On Wall Street this morning, stock futures pointing to a higher open in about a half hour. Right now, Dow futures up 65 points. S&P futures 6 points higher. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Stuck in traffic? We've got the answer on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
One accident at this hour, northbound Clarkson at Baxter Road. We've got a crash there. Now 55 northbound still just a little tight, Potomac to Arsenal after an earlier crash. We've got a slow spot on 270 northbound. Well, more than slow, it's jammed. Approaching Gravois to Manchester. Westbound 367 to New Florissant. That one's heavy too. And 55 westbound, 64 to the King Bridge split, you'll see delays. Eastbound has 2 right lanes closed from the Poplar Street Bridge to the King Bridge split with roadwork until July 3rd. That's traffic. I'm Bonnie Green. On 1380 and 105.3 The Answer, online at theanswerspl.com.
1380 The Answer. Weather.
Today, a shower or thunderstorm around this morning, otherwise breezy with clouds giving way to some sun, high 82. Clear tonight, low 64. Tomorrow, partly sunny and warmer, high 90. Partly cloudy tomorrow night, low 70. For Wednesday, very warm with a mix of clouds and sun, high 89. I'm Cheryl Golden with your St. Louis Metro forecast on 1380 and 105.3 The Answer.
I'm Lou Dobbs. Gas prices at the pump to rise in the Northeast. A busy week ahead for economic reports. Those stories next.
Warning. Property protected by electric fence. Sharks sighted in water.
Warnings are truly handy.
Bridge out.
But you may not always get a warning when it comes to threats to your identity or the personal information on your devices. That's why LifeLock Identity Theft Protection includes Norton Security for even more protection. LifeLock uses proprietary technology to help detect identity threats, like your personal info for sale on the dark web. And Norton Security protects up to 5 devices from ransomware and other online threats. Plus, if you have a problem, our agents will work to fix it. Of course, no one can prevent all identity theft or cybercrime or monitor all transactions at all businesses, but having someone looking out for you...
Warning. Minefield ahead.
...will help keep you out of danger. Join now and get 10% off your first year. Go to LifeLock.com and enter promo code GORKA. That's promo code GORKA for 10% off. LifeLock with Norton. More detection. More protection.
Gasoline prices in the Northeast are likely to rise over the next few weeks as a result of the refinery explosion in Philadelphia. The 150-year-old refinery suffered an explosion Friday. Analysts say the interruption of production will affect gas prices throughout the Northeast for at least several weeks. Economic reports ahead this week include updates on home prices and new home sales, those tomorrow, as well as the Conference Board's release of its Consumer Confidence Index for June, and FedEx reports its quarterly financial results. A giant telescope allowing scientists to gaze into the distant stars is going to be built on a Hawaiian volcano that some consider sacred. The announcement following years of protests, demonstrations, and lawsuits. Please join me for Lou Dobbs tonight, 7 o'clock and 10 Eastern on the Fox Business Network. This is the Lou Dobbs Financial Report.
Greetings, St. Louis. This is Matthew Mitchell of the Matthew Mitchell Allstate Agency. As a longtime supporter and sponsor of the Allman in the Morning Show, my goal as his trusted advisor is to make sure that you are in good hands. My team of agents and I know how to make sure that you get the best value for the money you spend on your insurance. Our quotes are free, so let us show you what we can do to save you money or give you the peace of mind that you deserve. Folks, there is safety in numbers. I urge you to put the power of Allstate, America's largest and strongest insurance company, to work for you. Call 855-QUOTE-ME.
This is a special alert for Americans who owe more than $10,000 in back taxes. Get ready for a toll-free hotline number. Call and get free information on how to take advantage of new initiatives that could significantly reduce or even eliminate your tax debt. Call Stop IRS Debt today at 800-893-8907. Learn how you can stop collection calls, IRS letters, bank levies, and wage garnishments, all by using a proven A+ BBB rated tax system that negotiates with the IRS for you. If you haven't filed returns in years or you're already in a payment plan, you can still get tax relief. The government is ready to work out a generous program that can resolve your tax debt quickly. Be warned, this situation won't last forever and your tax debt will only get worse if you don't act now. Do not try to handle it yourself. Call Stop IRS Debt now for free information. 800-893-8907. That's 800-893-8907. 800-893-8907.
Indeed, used by over 3 million businesses for hiring, where business owners and HR professionals can post job openings with screener questions, then sort, review, and communicate with candidates from an online dashboard. Learn more at Indeed.com/hire.
Common Sense Radio with Allman in the morning on 1380 and 105.3 The Answer.
Give me land, lots of land, and the starry skies above. Don't fence me in. Let me ride through the wide open country that I love. Don't fence me in. Let me be by myself in the evening breeze. Listen to the murmur of the cottonwood trees. Send me off forever.
gentlemen, without further ado, happy Monday to all of you. And as usual, our Gateway pundit, Jimmy Hoft, is knocking it out of the park. If you just go to gatewaypundit.com, you're going to see in the first 5 stories that you don't even see on some of your more reliable or the ones you're going to, your Breitbarts or your whatever, because Jim is his own guy. And the gatewaypundit.com is where you need to go, because I'm looking at a story right now that only Jim normally is able to catch. And Jim Hoft, Gateway Pundit, thanks for joining me, man. And you have on the top shelf here the Trey Gowdy appearance on Sunday Morning Futures with Maria Bartiromo. And this is something that's not being reported hardly anywhere that I know of regarding the different intelligence briefing to candidate Trump than to candidate Clinton. What's going on here?
Yeah, this is an amazing story. I had never heard this before, Jamie. And Trey Gowdy, who used to be the representative out of South Carolina, now he's a Fox News contributor. He was on yesterday morning with Maria Bartiromo on Sunday Morning Futures, which is an excellent show, by the way.
Yeah.
She just knocks it out of the park. She's pro-Trump. She's a true patriot. She's very knowledgeable. She asks excellent questions, and she has some really incredible guests. So I really like that show on Sunday morning. Certainly much more that I like it much better than the Fox News Sunday, which has turned into kind of a never Trump sort of experience.
Yeah.
So anyway, Trey Gowdy goes on and he says that they were giving a different intel briefing to candidate Trump than they were to Hillary Clinton. And it's really just unbelievable. It's the first time I've heard that. And I guess, as you recall, as we look back, Jamie, remember how the left was like, oh, you can't, how dare the intelligence agencies sit down with Trump? He's not serious. This is dangerous. All this crap, that they've always hurled at Trump. But it was especially noisy around that time when people knew he was going to get his first briefing from the intelligence community. Well, they must have dumbed it down for Trump, because now we know, according to Gowdy, and he broke this yesterday, and it was the first time I ever heard this, they told Trump something completely different than what they did with crooked Hillary. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, absolutely. And so what were they? Do we know the content exactly? Like what were they telling him versus what were they? Do we know the exact content of it, or we just know it was different?
Well, according to Gowdy, they took entirely different tracks during the 2 briefings. That's what he says so far.
Yeah. Okay.
This hasn't been. It hasn't. They haven't released this information, so I don't know what it is. But just the fact that he's seen this information and he's telling Maria Bartiromo, somebody needs to ask about this because I've seen it. I know it's different.
Right.
I think, I think it's just unbelievable. This is how they've been treating Trump all along.
Well, something tells me, Jim, that some of this information will come out as Barr continues his investigation of the deep state. And so I'm hoping, and I believe Gowdy is almost insinuating that he knows that that's actually been talked about. And so I wouldn't be surprised if down the line we actually learn more about that through the investigation. So, the left has been waiting for the Mueller report for 2.5 years, got nothing. I can't wait for the Barr report because it's going to be chock full of criminals. I guarantee you that. So we'll see. You also have a story here, and this is President Trump who's constantly attacked, A, for being a warmonger, B, for being terrible to the news media, to our esteemed fourth estate. And yet here's a guy who seemingly is accessible. He's been more accessible than any president before him to the news media. And he sits down with Chuck Todd, who, in my opinion, he shouldn't give an ounce of time to him, but he does anyway. And President Trump is honest to a fault to a certain degree, and here he is talking about the realities surrounding his foreign policy, especially as it relates to Iran. Here's Chuck Todd. Check it out. This is on the web.
Do you feel like you were being pushed into military action against Iran by any of your advisors?
I have 2 groups of people. I have doves and I have hawks.
Yeah, you have some serious hawks.
I have some hawks. Yeah, John Bolton is absolutely a hawk. It's up to him. He'd take on the whole world at one time, okay? But that doesn't matter. Because I want both sides. Some people say.
I mean, and this is why we love Donald Trump, because because he's being honest, he's being forthright, and where you have these cagey people before him, like the Obamas or even the Bushes for that matter, no one would ever talk about this situation the way he's talking about it now, which is in real terms. We all understand. We understand there are people who are going to be more hawkish and people are going to be more dovish. And we're very happy and more than feeling secure to know that President Trump is being a commander-in-chief. He's being a chief executive. I like this.
Yeah, absolutely. This was, like you said, this is interesting. Trump announced his campaign. The official kickoff was last week. He's already done interviews with George Stephanopoulos and now this Chuck Todd. So, but you're absolutely right. It's nice that he has all types of people in his administration, and that he listens to everyone, and then he makes the final decision. I think that's what everybody wants in a leader.
Yeah, this is the guy Glenn Beck claimed was going to destroy the world and was always going off on his own and won't listen to anybody. It's like this is, and here he is, the exact opposite. And I'm so glad you mentioned Chris Wallace, because I had mentioned earlier on, right now they're trying to make Trump into some kind of coward because he didn't bomb Iran. And the reality is, as Tom Cotton schooled Chris Wallace on the thing, he goes, listen, Obama called it a red line. President Trump's not said a word about any red line. So if you try to make this Trump's red line moment, you're just making up the fact that there's a red line to begin with. Trump never called it a red line. So, that's
excellent point. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Also at the gatewaypundit.com, folks, this is funny. I mean, and by the way, you're not going to see this anywhere else. Here's the headline: a majority of Mexicans want their government to stop letting Central American migrants travel through their country. And only Jim Hoff was able to pick this up. What's it about, buddy?
Yeah, isn't that amazing? So 61% of the Mexicans are saying they don't want to see this continue. And I mean, I don't blame them. Who wants to see people cut through their backyard every day?
Yeah.
That's why people have fences and walls, right? So, it's amazing that this continues, and thank God for Trump. It's unbelievable watching the media hammer him, and the Democrats, who we know would just open the borders wide open and allow this, a couple of 100 million to arrive in the U.S. every year. Trump is trying to do something about it, and I think he had a great approach by going to Mexico. And it's not a surprise that the Mexicans don't want to see this either.
Yeah, well, it's 61%. I mean, that's a big majority. This was done by eUniversal, and they also reported that a majority of Mexican citizens, it was 53%, do not support granting work visas to Central American migrants. I mean, boy, I'll tell you what. Wow. I wish we had that kind of number of Americans who are against these work visas that are being handed out like M&Ms to people. And unfortunately, the Trump administration is continuing on with it. It's the one thing I disagree with them about is the expansion of this green card program. But Mexicans are far more conservative than they're giving credit for. And one of the things, too, a story that was told, I can't remember what network, but remember when the Central Americans were going through a city in Mexico and they left nothing but trash everywhere. They were given food, and they were also given clothing, and they left it all sitting around in a park and in gutters. And then Tucker Carlson dares to mention that or bring that up, and he's accused of being some kind of racist for saying that some of these people are polluting and littering and doing whatever else. So
right.
The Mexicans don't have and even their immigration policy, Jim, is tougher than the immigration policy of Americans. So if we just adopted Mexico's immigration policy, you'd have hell breaking loose everywhere.
Right, and enforced it like they do.
Yeah. Now you also have
that isn't happening.
I know. You also have a piece up here with, again, Project Veritas, and again, I don't know why it is that the networks. Well, I think I do know why it is. The networks never cover what James O'Keefe does. I mean, hardly ever. I mean, I know that with the Planned Parenthood there were some tapes, but nonetheless. So he has a report now talking about what we certainly anticipated would be happening, and that is Google and some of these other social media outlets and everything else, they're dead set in making sure that whatever happened in 2016 doesn't happen again with their assistance.
Yeah, this isn't a surprise. It's a big report, though, by James O'Keefe. It broke this morning. And as you know, and your audience knows, James O'Keefe goes out, he gets his undercover videos. And I spoke with him last week, Jamie. He says he has a lot coming out on these tech giants who have been, censoring and shadow banning and eliminating conservative talk on their platforms. So this is great that James comes out with this morning for this top official at Google saying, yeah, we're not going to let what happened in 2016 happen again. And does that surprise us? No. I mean, we saw the leaked video after Trump won the election in 2016 where they're all having a meeting at Google, and one of the top women who worked there is crying, and trying to hold her composure as she's crying about Trump winning the election. So this doesn't come as a surprise. Also, though, I should throw in, we found out earlier this year through a Daily Caller report that Gateway Pundit was one of the organizations that they just ban our content. And so that's why I'm going to start promoting a DuckDuckGo or another search engine, because you just can't find our articles anymore on Google. It's really, and we're just a prime example of what's been going on. They're taking conservative content and they bury it. You can't even find it. And you certainly can't find it with Gateway Pundit articles. So I think it's criminal. They have I've heard a number like 90% of the searches people do online goes through Google. So they absolutely hold the key. And I hope that some Republicans wake up and start taking these people on, because this is frightening when we have these big giants telling us what we can hear and what we can't. Or what we can see and what we can't. It's unbelievable and it's un-American.
Yeah, so I was confused because I'm kind of I'm on the fence about Josh Hawley's internet tech censorship bill, because I'm worried that if we get too involved governmentally, that the fairness doctrine return is not far behind. Like I don't want suddenly somebody else forcing me to have every 15 minutes some liberal on the show. You know what I mean? So I'm a little on the fence about that, but it's clear it's a problem.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I don't know what the answer is, but I know they better act, because conservative publishers, especially the upstart independent publishers, they're going out of business every day. They just can't compete when you have people like the ones who work at Google or Facebook, eliminating their content online. It's unbelievable that the left has done this to the internet, but probably shouldn't be a surprise, because we know who the left is, and we know that they crave power.
Yeah.
And the fact that they won't even let stories get out there, it's just unbelievable.
Yeah, and I still, as much as they might try, they still are not going to be able to keep us away. But we'll see. And then finally, I know you're in touch with James O'Keefe. Do you have conversations with John Solomon, or do you? Because I know you picked up on his report about this FBI thing. Still does he?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I haven't. I haven't spoken with John Solomon.
Okay.
I have some other contacts, but John, he's breaking great stuff. Yeah,
well,
every week.
I'm pretty sure that this week he'll be breaking something locally that people will want to be paying attention to.
Fantastic.
And so I'm just telling you, and I know you'll be on it, and maybe I'll have you back on once it breaks. But it's something John Solomon has been poking around Missouri. Let's put it that way. And might have something big coming up this week. So keep in touch, and I'll certainly be keeping in touch with you as well, and maybe even John could tell you what's going on. But it's going to be pretty big, and it's coming from this great investigative reporter, John Solomon. All right, Jimmy, always good talking to you, man. Hope you have a great rest of your week, and appreciate all that you're breaking through here, buddy. Appreciate it very much.
Thanks so much, Jamie.
All right, you too. 844-855-1380 is the call. Tammy.com. Real estate listener line. Would love to hear from you. It's Common Sense Radio.
More Allman in the Morning coming up on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer. Stuck in traffic? We've got the answer on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
One accident causing problems right now. 6440 eastbound. Your stop and go from McKnight to Big Bend, where left lane is blocked with a crash. And then we've got one very big delay. That's on 270 northbound, jammed up after Gravois to Manchester. 270 westbound, tight Old Halls Ferry to New Florissant. And your stop and go on 6440 westbound, Hampton to McCausland. Delays on 6440 eastbound, a right lane blocked after Union Station with a stall. And we've got midday road work coming up today, 9 to 3 on eastbound, westbound 6440 on the Boone Bridge. That's traffic. I'm Bonnie Green. On 1380 and 105.3 The Answer, online at theanswerstl.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, Banner Construction, bannerconstruction.com, 314-569-1050. That's the Banner Construction song. I don't know whether you realize it or not. Bannerconstruction.com, and Bill and Sam and the rest of the team, man, these guys are amazing. 50 years in the remodeling business together, and Banner Construction, you put them through the spanking machine. I'm talking about the Better Business Bureau, whatever, to find out how they operate. You will be amazed at what these guys have established in this industry. An impeccable service record and impeccable record when it comes to getting the job done on time, like they say. An impeccable record when it comes to selling you the windows or the siding, whatever. Because one of the things that people don't like about the remodeling business is the hard sell. They just don't feel comfortable, and they feel like somebody's coming into their home and just push them in a certain direction, whatever. That's one of the things that defines Banner Construction is its approach to you as a homeowner. They don't take you for granted, and they don't take you for a fool. So that's why, for instance, the James Hardie Fiber Cement guys, as well as the Certainty vinyl siding guys, Certainty, all those folks, and the Pella window guys, all are so enthralled with what James Hardie does and what Banner Construction does, and that is they have that great reputation. So Pella doesn't want somebody hard selling their windows, and James Hardie doesn't want somebody hard selling their fiber cement siding. They want somebody who's going to represent that company well. That's why they are the preferred installer of James Hardie Fiber Cement Siding, and certainly preferred purveyor of the fabulous Pella windows that come in both vinyl and wood. So you're going to really, you can't go wrong with my guys at Banner Construction. Check it out on the web, bannerconstruction.com.
Let's face it, things happen in our daily life that may get us off track. Tooth pain and aches can happen when we least expect them. Get back on track with a visit to Dr. Anna Smith of Dentistry with TLC. Dr. Anna prides herself on helping patients when it's convenient for them, even during lunch hours, and always providing a judgment-free office. Dr. Anna Smith with Dentistry with TLC is here to help. Need a root canal? Dr. Anna can perform the procedure in about 10 minutes and get you back on the road. Have sleep apnea? While you're there, talk to Dr. Anna about an oral appliance to help you get a better night's sleep and feel well rested the next day. Dr. Anna Smith with Dentistry with TLC, located in Godfrey, Illinois. Call today at 618-466-0733. That's 618-466-0733. Or visit dentistrywithtlc.com to learn the TLC difference. That's dentistrywithtlc.com.
Quit eating burgers off a coffee table. If you want to eat a burger, put it on a bar. Fresh, juicy beef smashed till it's crispy around the edges, covered in gooey cheese, and stacked to the ceiling with deliciousness. Follow your instincts to Buffalo Wild Wings for the new All-American Cheeseburger.
Hey, don't just listen to Allman in the Morning. See the show at theanswerstl.com. Now, more Allman in the Morning on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
Happy Monday to all of you. Good morning, this morning, guy. Yes, indeed. Had a great time in beautiful Santa Barbara. And I so appreciate the Young America's Foundation. This is fantastic. There were some 300 kids there, Aiden being among the youngest, and it was quite a scene. And we had so many great speakers there. Ben Shapiro was Todd Starnes was there. Rachel Campos Duffy was there. The authors of one of them was a great guy. I think I'm going to have him on the air later this week. And he is and Aiden came home with some of these books, which is great. And one of them was dedicated to what made Ronald Reagan so fantastic. And yeah, it's funny. Aiden was born the year Ronald Reagan died, and it was I remember finding out when Ronald Reagan died. It was in the summer of 2004, and Aiden learned so much about this man and his leadership and his principles, and I don't think that I will ever forget going to the Reagan Ranch in my life. It was one of the most beautiful experiences. It was almost dreamlike. I mean, I'll tell you about it on the other side of this break because I'm running out of time, but boy, was it incredible. And you can't just go there. You have to actually be invited there. And we were fortunate enough, since the Young America's Foundation owns the ranch now. They bought the ranch from the Reagan family, so they have access to it. But boy, is it incredible, man. And it was just the whole experience going there, because the parents, we were kind of separated from the kids, which is great. The kids were really on their own. They had their own rules and their things they had to do, and they were kept busy. Aiden was a little tired after the whole event, and rightly so. But it had a huge impact on him and even on me. So the parents got to go to the Reagan Ranch separately from the kids, but I'm so glad Aiden got to go too, because he saw what I saw, and it was pretty darn amazing. I'll tell you more about it on the other side of this break. If you've been there and want to talk about Ronald Reagan, fantastic. 844-855-1380. Call Tammy.com, Real Estate Listener Line.
With SRN News, I'm Rich Thomason in Washington. Secretary of State Pompeo is in Saudi Arabia. The visit comes amid mounting tension in the region. Adding to that tension, remarks from the Iranian naval chief, who warns that Iranian forces would not think twice about shooting down more U.S. surveillance drones. Pompeo's visit to Saudi Arabia comes as new economic sanctions against Iran go into effect today. Detention hearings on tap today in Philadelphia for 6 crew members of a Swiss-owned container ship following the seizure of more than 35,000 pounds of cocaine. The estimated street value of the drug, more than $1 billion. The opening bell has just sounded on Wall Street. Stocks starting off the day higher. Right now, the Dow is up about 36 points. The S&P ahead 2. The NASDAQ Composite Index up 12 points. More details at srnnews.com.
Stuck in traffic? We've got the answer on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
One accident causing problems right now, 6440 eastbound. Your stop and go from Clayton Warson to Big Bend, where a left lane is still blocked with the crash. A tow's on the scene, so that's good news. 6440 westbound, that stop and go from Hampton to Big Bend. 270 northbound eased up a bit there. Big Bend to Manchester is a little bit tight. We've also got a stall on 44 westbound. It's blocking a right lane after 270. And 170 southbound, Forest Park Parkway to 6440 west. That stop and go mainly in the 64 east exit lane. That's traffic. I'm Bonnie Green. On 1380 and 105.3 The Answer, online at theanswerstl.com.
1380 The Answer. Weather.
Today, a shower or thunderstorm around this morning. Otherwise breezy with clouds giving way to some sun, high 82. Clear tonight, low 64. Tomorrow, partly sunny and warmer, high 90. Partly cloudy tomorrow night, low 70. For Wednesday, very warm with a mix of clouds and sun, high 89. I'm Cheryl Golden with your St. Louis Metro forecast on 1380 and 105.3 The Answer.
You know, folks, I'm telling you what, I'm gonna focus with Michael Proctor spelled like Dr. ProctorDrapery.com, on the plantation shutters, the Norman shutters. These are really, Michael loves to sell them. He loves to install them. He loves the way he loves to install and sell anything for you, window treatment wise, the 100 Douglas, motorized shade, everything else. But he really particularly has a love for the Norman shutters, because shutters not only make your home look beautiful to you when you're inside. So if your sunroom has these plantation shutters and whatever blade width you want, he'll get colors, whatever. But on the it also affects the look of the outside of your home as well. So if you're into that, if you're into the curb appeal factor, and you're also into your own feeling of wanting to be in a beautiful home yourself with these shutters, they are just unbelievably great, and they're a high value item, but they're not coming at the high value cost that otherwise you might pay with some of the big guys out there. And he's going to help you also choose the proper kind of look for the plantation shutter, because he's your interior designer too. And you're also not going to have to go anywhere to get these in your home. He's got his mobile design unit, so he'll drive right up to your doorstep, Saturdays and Sundays even as well, and he'll take good care of you. And he's got all the samplings you need, whatever else. He'll install it. He'll tell you what will look good, what colors will look good, whatever happens to be. And then you're never actually having to do anything. You're not having to lift a finger, except maybe to pay him. That's about it. And by the way, when you pay him, you're going to realize, wow, I'm getting a great deal here. I'm getting a huge value with this hardworking man, this guy who believes in common sense radio. It's Proctor, spelled like doctor. It's proctordrapery.com.
Hi, this is Scott Ferguson, the Director of Outreach at St. Matthew. There's something exciting happening at St. Matt's, and I'd like to invite you to experience it. We have a service at 9 a.m. with a 70-voice sanctuary choir and orchestra, and our contemporary service at 11 a.m. with our praise band. We can't wait to see you there. For more information, visit us at stmatthewumc.org.
Greetings, St. Louis. This is Matthew Mitchell of the Matthew Mitchell Allstate Agency. As a longtime supporter and sponsor of the Allman in the Morning Show, my goal as his trusted advisor is to make sure that you are in good hands. My team of agents and I know how to make sure that you get the best value for the money you spend on your insurance. Our quotes are free, so let us show you what we can do to save you money or give you the peace of mind that you deserve. Folks, there is safety in numbers. I urge you to put the power of Allstate, America's largest and strongest insurance company, to work for you. Call 855-QUOTE-ME.
Quit eating burgers off a coffee table. If you want to eat a burger, put it on a bar. Fresh, juicy beef smashed till it's crispy around the edges, covered in gooey cheese, and stacked to the ceiling with deliciousness. Follow your instincts to Buffalo Wild Wings for the new All-American Cheeseburger.
Joe Walsh, tonight at 8. Now, more Allman in the Morning on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
On the corner of Main Street, just trying to keep it in line. You say you want to move on, and you say I'm falling behind. Can you read my mind? Can you read my mind?
35,000 pounds of cocaine seized in Philadelphia. $1 billion worth of coke. What is Donnie Deutsch going to do? What's Don Lemon going to do? Now! It's a lot of that. That's the largest seizure in customs history coming through the Philadelphia port. It'll be interesting to find out where it came from. We don't really know that yet. I don't think that's been divulged exactly where it's come from, but it'll be interesting to find out where it came from. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. We'll see. We'll talk about that. And I know it's not one of those things coming across the border, but I'll tell you, that's a big seizure. Somebody's not going to be happy about that. And the people who had it taken away from them, they probably are wishing that didn't happen. You know what I'm saying? So we'll follow up on that. I'll be curious about that. So, all right. So it was really a fun time in Santa Barbara and an amazing time. And I have to tell you, by the way, just traveling wise, it was the first time I'd ever flown United Airlines, and they did a pretty good job. But it's kind of a ghetto airline, to tell you the truth. Sorry, but I mean, I think their airplanes are cool. Like we had to do small aircraft from San Francisco to Santa Barbara, and we were on some rickety ass machine going down there. But then they put us in an Embraer going back to San Francisco, and that Embraer is a cool little ship, man. I'm telling you, like that. I like that little smooth operator. That's for sure. And we were in an Airbus on the way back, which was a far more pleasing aircraft than the 737 we were on going there. But anyway, I'm just telling you. But and United's baggage situation is a mess. They had us waiting for 45 minutes for our luggage there last night. It's like it's unacceptable, to tell you the truth. I gave TSA a run for their money. I did take my .45 caliber handgun out of my bag this time, which is good. It's a good development there. I remembered to do that, which is great. And but I was carrying, in order for me to have broadcasted from the hotel room, I had to take this machine with me, this Comrex machine. I wish I had it with me so I could show it to you, but let's put it this way. It looks like a time bomb. It's like this thing. It's like this big, oversized like piece of machinery, and it looks like it's straight out of a Warner Brothers Bugs Bunny cartoon time bombing thing. All it needs is a wick on it. Oh no, I think it'll blow up. So, but it looked like a bomb. So they're like, they kept asking me like what it was. And I didn't even, at first I thought to myself, jokingly, that I could say, oh, why does it look like a bomb? But apparently you're not supposed to say anything. You're not even supposed to utter the words bomb when you're wandering
My
through.
sister got in huge trouble for that.
She did?
Her graduation from high school, she got a gift to go to Hawaii, and she made a joke in the line. This is back in the 80s, and she got pulled aside and humiliated, and it was traumatic.
Really?
Like, this is Lambert. I tried to zoom in on that picture you sent on Facebook of the Comrex on the table.
Oh, yeah.
I wanted to get a look at it, so I Googled it. That looks more like a bomb than the Clockboy thing did.
It does.
That's serious
Yeah.
bomb-looking thing there, right?
No
Yeah,
doubt. It
right.
looks dangerous. Yeah. And you have to carry it with you because it's like an $800 piece of machinery. And so Salem would not be happy if I somehow lost it in my luggage. It wasn't going to be. So I had to carry it with me. And it was easy enough. And then the microphone looks like a handgun. I'm not kidding you. The microphone stand. I wish I had this. I don't know why I didn't think to bring this with me. I guess I didn't. Sometimes I don't plan that far ahead. But it's the microphone. It's not the microphone, but it's the microphone stand. It looks like a Dirty Harry handgun. I'm not kidding you. So they're all just like, "Oh my, what are you trying to get in trouble here?" But so I bring it through. But that was easy enough. Everything was fine. It was still and listen, I love the people at United. They're great people. So I hope you're not mad at me for saying it's kind of ghetto. But you had to sit there and explain to 200 people on the airplane to San Francisco why your internet was down. I mean, that's so. I don't think the employees like that any more than passengers do. So anyway, I didn't care whether it was down or not, but a lot of people did. So anyway, the trip to Santa Barbara was beautiful. It is a gorgeous city, and it's cool. It was a little cool. Like, for instance, the first 2 days I was there, it's called the June gloom. So every June around this time of year, there's just this cloud cover and it's foggy and it's everything else. But I still was hanging out. It's still fun. But clearly the highlight of the trip for me was the trip to the Reagan Ranch. Rancho del Cielo, Heaven's Ranch, and it's a beautiful place. And as I said earlier, it kind of reminded me of when I went to see Graceland in Memphis. I had this picture in my mind of like this big mansion and this Elvis opulence, this Elvis mansion. I get there and it looks like a home in Olivet. I'm not kidding you. It's like a one-story ranch home, but it was obviously decorated with cool stuff, and there was carpeting on the walls. It was a unique place. There's no doubt about that. So we go in, but the Reagan Ranch is similar because you think that I'm talking about this big, expansive, crazy place, and it's a very modest little ranch, little home, one story, and there is a tack barn as well for all the horses, which is beautiful, and there's a Secret Service building as well, because the Secret Service really had their hands full in protecting the president while he was there. They for instance, had Disney make fake rocks that they put out in the field, and because the Secret Service, because they didn't want equipment hanging around, they put their equipment in there. Those be like equipment lockers for them out in the field. And his Secret Service agent was a horse rider, and he'd ride along with the president everywhere he went and riding horses and stuff like that. The Secret Service story is a separate angle there. But one of the things about this home that really told you is what I truly, in the end, a simple and godly man Ronald Reagan was. It was amazing to learn when you saw the fencing out there, for instance, that Ronald Reagan built that fence himself. He had a couple of buddies with him, built the fence himself out of utility poles. Yeah, that's it. That's it, man. That's the ranch right there. Yeah. And actually, if you look at it, just keep, hold on, is that table there? Hang on. Yeah. Okay. Just keep an eye on that picture for a second. I'm going to tell you about that table, and that table out in front of the front door there, where the little triangle thing is, right under the horns on the top if you're on Facebook. But what was I talking about? Oh, he made the fence out of old utility poles. He and his buddies, and they fenced the entire place with these old utility poles. And Ronald Reagan would spend a lot of time out there clearing brush, and he really kind of made this place with his bare hands practically. And he loved the place so much, and I will never forget hearing that there's a view, and I saw the view. And in fact, I put the view on my Facebook page. I guess I wonder if you're on. Are you on the Radio Free Allman Facebook page and not my personal one? Because I put a bunch of pictures up on my personal one. So I should put them on the Radio Free Allman. I'll do that today. I'll do that this morning after the show. I'll put them all up on the Radio Free Allman page. When the view, there was this vista where they had the helipad because they'd have to fly him in there, and oftentimes it was treacherous because the weather up there isn't always bright and sunny. It's fog. Sometimes it's in the clouds, which again I'll refer to in a second. So to get off the helipad, but driving down, there's this vista that you could see right down into the Santa Barbara area, and you could see the Pacific Ocean at the end. And it is a beautiful scene. And interestingly enough, it as I pointed out in my post, Ronald Reagan said, I'm gonna find it here. Hang on a second here, people. I'm gonna find it so I can read it to you. But President Reagan said that particular vista reminded him of Psalm 121. And first of all, I did not know. I knew that President Reagan talked a lot about God as president, and even lamented the lack of spiritual guidance for us, and how God is pivotal to a country's success in terms of a belief and a belief system. But I didn't exactly know the extent of his faith. And when I heard that, and then I looked at Psalm 121, I was amazed at the humility of Ronald Reagan, the humble approach to life that he takes and took. And so when you see this vista, here, I'll read it to you. I will lift up mine eyes unto the hills, from whence cometh my help. My help cometh from the Lord, who hath made heaven and earth. And at that point, when you see that vista, and even when you see the beauty of nature anyway, I mean, even when I was flying in the airplane and you look down at this gorgeous country of ours, and you see this beautiful countryside and land, and ultimately what happened, or even when I was standing on the beach at the Pacific Ocean looking out, and also, or driving up to the ranch and seeing all these beautiful plants and beautiful colors and everything else, you really do learn, and it's a great experience. You really do learn your place in the world. You learn, you see your position in the world, and you are so small. But that's a good thing. It's a comforting thing. It's a comforting thing to be small, which is why oftentimes I love looking at the sky, looking at the stars, and looking at planets. I love feeling small, and because it's not only gives you a sense of security, but it gives you a sense that something out there is bigger than you are. And that should be a comforting thing, that you really don't exactly know everything there is to know, and you don't understand everything there is to understand. You don't lord over everything around you. That you get the sense that there's some higher power in operation, obviously, and obviously to me it's God. And obviously President Reagan felt the same way when he'd see this vista. It was comforting to him in terms of how he operated. And so he was a really humble guy. I mean, it was really just amazing. On top of that, you also understood his devotion to Nancy, which was just that whole story is a beautiful one. I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with it, but it was really, you just get this sense of just pure devotion to her that is just bowls you over. It's just fantastic. It's beautiful. And now to the table. So it's no wonder, as I said on Facebook, and I'll put it up on the Radio Free Allman page, it's no wonder that this devotion to God and this devotion to his wife, his devotion to his horses, his devotion to the people who worked on the ranch, it's no wonder that this guy was so devoted to his country and to us. And that table that you see out in front, and you see those chairs, if you look up the signing of the Economic Recovery Act that changed not only this country, but also ultimately went like a wildfire through the rest of the world and probably ended up helping further the demise of communism, at least when it came to the Soviet Union and in other places as well. So that table was pulled out right in front of that bush there, that rock there. And that is where Ronald Reagan, in this thick fog, signed the Economic Recovery Act on that table. So that little spot right in front of that little bush there and that rock where the table was moved out to, that spot right there is where the country changed forever. At least until people tried to come back and change it back. But nonetheless, that is a hallowed piece of ground right there. But it's really cool, and unfortunately, people just can't go up there. It's owned by the Young America's Foundation, and that's great because they bought it from the Reagans, children, after they passed away, and the Reagans moved out of there. Sadly enough, the moment that President Reagan turned a corner to go to the ranch and didn't recognize it because of Alzheimer's. He didn't know what it was. And at that point, they said, we're leaving. And so that's, but everything's still inside. You couldn't take pictures inside, so we have no pictures inside. You go inside, everything is, his Head and Shoulders shampoo is still in the shower. I'm not kidding you. Jelly bean jar over here. The spice rack is still filled. You go into the closet, there's President Reagan's cowboy boots on one side and Nancy's cowgirl boots on the other side. I mean, everything is like almost like it's a time freeze. They didn't set this up. They didn't like put stuff in there. This was all there. And I mean, the GE blender sitting on the kitchen counter. I mean, it just is. It's an amazing place. But it really, I almost like was just like, wow, I felt like I was in a different world being there and understanding the true beauty and amazingness of President Reagan. And man, was he the guy, I'll tell you.
How big of a group were you with in there? It looks small. Is it as small as it looks inside?
Yeah.
Yeah,
it
like
is.
normal
No, yeah, and we couldn't, and they had kind of these carpet runners on the linoleum floor because Ronald Reagan laid that linoleum floor himself.
Oh man!
Pretty much everything on that thing, he built an extension there. Those windows you see are not the windows that were on when he lived there. The windows that were on when he lived there were bulletproof windows. They were this thick. And they were bulletproof windows, and so the Secret Service had somewhat of a it was a difficult task protecting him while he was out there, but they did it anyway. They have a separate place, and they had some big guns, and they had the place wired up, and it was but they didn't sleep there. In fact, very few people slept there. Like when the Queen came, she didn't sleep there. I don't know. I don't think Gorbachev did too, but the Secret Service detail went in shifts, and they were all down in Santa Barbara. And they'd come up to the place. But yeah, it's a pretty amazing place. There might be a video about this farm on the Young America's Foundation website because we watched a video as well, but I'm not quite sure it's. I don't know whether it's on that website or not, but it tells you a lot about that farm, and actually it was a video produced by Steve Bannon. Really, and it's really a good video too. So if you can't make it there someday, and very few people do get to go there, but man, that place was something. And then of course, let me tell you one quick thing, and then I got Max is telling me I need to break, and I do have to break. So don't blame Max. But no, there's this pond, and there's this white canoe there, still sitting there. And that was the canoe that Ronald Reagan took Nancy in on their 40th wedding anniversary, and he proposed to her. Because he didn't propose to her the first time when they got married. They were married in a fever, so to speak, in a civil ceremony, but he took her out to the middle of that pond in that white canoe and proposed to her all over, basically, for the first time. Good morning this morning. 844-855-1380. Call Tammy.com. Real Estate Listener Lines, Common Sense Radio.
More Allman in the Morning coming up on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer. Stuck in traffic? We've got the answer on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
We're still looking at a pretty good-sized delay on 6440 eastbound. You're jammed up Clayton Warson to Big Bend after an earlier accident. Now, the accident is gone, but the delay is certainly not right now. 170 southbound, you'll slow between Forest Park Parkway and 6440 west, mainly in the exit lanes there. We still have some midday road work coming up in just a little bit. 9 to 3, construction on eastbound and westbound 6440 on the Boone Bridge. And the Dorset-Midland Bridge over Lindbergh, that's closed with road work until late August. And that's traffic. I'm Bonnie Green. On 1380 and 105.3 The Answer, online at theanswerstl.com.
MyPillow.com/Jamie. That is your ticket to comfort. Let me tell you something about the pillows. And if you use the promo code Jamie, you're getting 2 for $70, and that's a real great deal. And then also you are getting sheets, the Giza Dream Sheets. These are sheets that are so comfy. They're like the luxury hotel sheets. you're not going to find anywhere else but a luxury hotel. And you can have these in your home with 30% off when you use the promo code Jamie. High thread count, soft, cool, comfortable. You're going to love the Giza Dream Sheets. And the pillows, speaking of cool, there's no cool side. There's no warm side to the pillow. They're both cool. It's a technology they use to make the pillows, and you're going to love them. With the promo code Jamie, you're getting 2 for the price of $70 plus 30% off the Giza Dream Sheets. MyPillow.com/Jamie.
KXFN, St. Louis, K287BY, St. Louis.
If you're a business owner in St. Louis, ask yourself the following questions. What is your current IT provider doing to protect you against ransomware attacks? Do you know the status of your backups and if those backups are good in the event of an attack or a network failure? Do you know if your network is secure from internal and external threats? If you answered no to any of these, you need to call ThrottleNet today. ThrottleNet specializes in assisting businesses with their network support and security. Don't become fishbait. Visit ThrottleNet.com for your free external vulnerability scan and your free Don't Become Fishbait poster.
If you want to be successful in business, surround yourself with good people. If you want to be a successful contractor, then you've got to team up with the right supplier. Rick Pogue here. Arrowhead Building Supply understands the minute your day starts, time is money. With our exclusive 315 service platform, we offer 3-hour delivery to your job site or 15-minute pickup on anything in stock, be it siding, roofing, decks, windows, doors, gutters, or even stone. By the way, you will talk to a real person when you call Arrowhead. No voicemail. Call or stop by the location near you and let us help you grow your business today. Arrowhead Building Supply.
Mothers Against Drunk Driving supports victims of drunk driving, drug driving, and underage drinking at no charge. Call our 24-hour victim helpline at 877-MAD-HELP or visit mad.org. That's MADD.org.
Listen to Allman in the Morning with Alexa. Wake up and say, Alexa, play The Answer St. Louis. Now, back to Allman in the Morning on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
Phil was asking me about, did I see the Reagan bedroom? I don't know why you asked me that, but why did you ask me that, dude? See their bedroom? Like, yeah, I did. But, here's the deal. But it allowed me to tell him another thing about the humility of the Reagans. Their bedroom, it was just 2 queen beds pushed together. And Ronald Reagan was too tall for the bed. So his feet would hang over, so they put an ottoman at the end of the bed just for him, so his feet could... I mean, they didn't even buy like a king bed. They're 2 queens pushed together. It's unbelievable. It's Common Sense Radio.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. Tensions are running high between the U.S. and Iran as the Trump administration readies new sanctions.
The latest response from Washington in the back and forth with Iran is the expected unveiling of new sanctions. Over the weekend, President Trump told NBC he doesn't want war and prefers to talk with Iran's leaders. But he also threatened obliteration of Iran if it provokes the U.S. On Twitter, the president writes that his request for Iran is very simple: no nuclear weapons and no further sponsoring of terror. Greg Clugston, the White House.
On a visit to Saudi Arabia, Secretary of State Pompeo has held talks with the Saudi king and crown prince. The subject, Iran.
This will be a further effort to ensure that their capacity not only to grow their economy but to evade sanctions becomes more and more difficult. And it'll be an important addition to our capacity to enforce sanctions against Iran.
Last week's downing of an American drone saw the U.S. pull back from the brink of a military strike on Iran. President Trump called off retaliatory attacks on Iranian military targets. The president continues to press the Fed, saying the stock market and economic growth would be much higher if not for its actions. Mr. Trump says the Federal Reserve doesn't know what it's doing and hiked interest rates too quickly. In a tweet today, the president writes, "Think of what it could have been if the Fed had gotten it right." Santa Anita's troubled racing season has come to a close. After the deaths of 30 horses, the Southern California track rattled the industry. Automaker Daimler says emissions problems with Mercedes-Benz diesel vehicles took a toll on the company's second quarter profits, and Daimler has downgraded its earning outlook for the full year. On Wall Street, the Dow is up 48 points, the S&P down 1 point. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Stuck in traffic? We've got the answer on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
We're still looking at a pretty good-sized delay on 6440 eastbound. You're jammed up Clayton Warson to Big Bend. after an earlier accident. Now, the accident is gone, but the delay is certainly not right now. 170 southbound, you'll slow between Forest Park Parkway and 6440 West, mainly in the exit lanes there. We still have some midday road work coming up in just a little bit. 9 to 3, construction on eastbound and westbound 6440 on the Boone Bridge. And the Dorset Midland Bridge over Lindbergh, that's closed with road work until late August. And that's traffic. I'm Bonnie Green. The Answer, online at theanswerstl.com.
1380, The Answer. Weather.
Today, a shower or thunderstorm around this morning, otherwise breezy with clouds giving way to some sun, high 82. Clear tonight, low 64. Tomorrow, partly sunny and warmer, high 90. Partly cloudy tomorrow night, low 70. For Wednesday, very warm with a mix of clouds and sun, high 89. I'm Cheryl Golden with your St. Louis Metro forecast on 1380 and 105.3 The Answer.
Dana Lash.
That's the statist answer for everything. More government. Somebody's in need? More government. Oh, his lawn hasn't been mowed in a while? Well, instead of checking out what's wrong with him and seeing if we can help, we better put in a complaint to the city. That's everyone's first reaction. Even some people on the right. They've been lubed up by statism.
The Dana Show.
Weekdays at 1 on 1380 and 105.3 The Answer.
The following statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. Amberen trials tested mild to moderate symptoms. Testimonial is based on 90 days of use. Results may vary. IRI US MULO, 52 weeks by UPC.
Hi, I'm Mary Lou Retton, and I want to talk to you about something I haven't liked to talk about until now, my menopause. All my life, I've had energy to win gold in '84. But when menopause hit me, with the hot flashes and the night sweats, I began to feel sluggish every day. That all changed when I discovered Amberen.
Amberen safely relieves 12 menopause symptoms by helping to restore your hormonal balance. Amberen is 100% drug-free, estrogen-free, and clinically tested. Amberen is America's #1 menopause relief supplement.
Thanks to Amberen, my fear of hot flashes is gone. My sheets aren't soaked every night, and my energy is back. Give Amberen a try and see what it can do for you. It works. It really works.
Hurry to your Walmart, Walgreens, Target, and other fine retailers nationwide and get Amberen today.
Quit eating burgers off a coffee table. If you want to eat a burger, put it on a bar. Fresh, juicy beef smashed till it's crispy around the edges, covered in gooey cheese, and stacked to the ceiling with deliciousness. Follow your instincts to Buffalo Wild Wings for the new All-American Cheeseburger.
This hour of Allman in the Morning is brought to you in part by Dr. Anna Smith, the #1 provider of oral sleep appliances in the United States. Learn more at cpapsucks.com.
Common Sense Radio with Allman in the Morning on 1380 and 105.3 The Answer.
Give me land, lots of land, and the starry skies above. Don't fence me in. Let me ride through the wide open country that I love. Don't fence me in. Let me be by myself in the evening breeze. Listen to the murmur of the cottonwood trees. Send me off forever, but I ask you please. Don't fence me in. Don't fence me in. Just turn me loose, let me straddle my own saddle underneath the western skies. On my cayuse, let me wander over yonder till I see the mountains rise. I want to ride to the ridge where the west commences.
Before I get to it, Newsbusters has a really great bit out about the winners and losers in entertainment and some examples of it in terms of people who are, television shows and things like that are surprising us in terms of how great and commonsensical they are, and other ones that are letting us all down. So we'll follow up on that in just a little bit. I'm seeing on CNN. This is a great. I should screenshot that. Let me see if I can get it really quickly here. CNN. Here, hold on. Here we go. Oh shoot, I missed it. Well, their headline. They're basically they're propagandizing for Iran. I mean, that's what CNN is doing. These people are, if you're not convinced right now that these people are your enemies, What else is going to convince you that CNN is trash and the enemy media? What more info do you need? And so I'm watching, and here's what CNN does. Okay, they have a they know that their televisions are on at airports and in waiting rooms and wherever the hell else people are tricked into believing somehow that CNN is some just milquetoast network that kind of covers everything, so we might as well have CNN on. So they know how they can lie to you and misrepresent and propagandize for our enemies by just simply what they say at the lower third of the screen. And so you could say anything on that lower third, and it's all up to the CNN people as to what they want you to see. So you'll see people talk and jabbering, but you'll read the lower third statement there. And if you look at what CNN is doing, they're propagandizing for Iran right now. And it's just like I told you, and it's just like I told Aiden when we were talking a little bit about Iran and everything else. I said, mark my words, the media will take the side of whoever President Trump is against. It doesn't matter. Whether it is Nancy Pelosi, North Korea, Mexico, or Iran, President Trump will always be the bad guy in the eyes of the enemy media because they hate him. And so they will take up the cause of any enemy of this country in any conflict. They will take up the side of that enemy, no matter what. And so President Trump is imposing new sanctions on Iran today. And what's the lower third headline for them? Iran questions the need for more U.S. sanctions. It's like, why are you taking Iran's point of view on the story? So right now, and also they propagandize and they said Iran says the drone takedown can happen again. So they're basically being the messenger for Ahmadinejad on CNN. It's disgusting. It's vile. And CNN has decided that President Trump is the one that needs to be on the defensive now in the situation with Iran. President Trump is having to defend the sanctions. When we ought to be all on the side of it. But because Ahmadinejad and Obama are like thick as thieves because Ahmadinejad got his plane load of cash from Obozo, that's all CNN and everybody else is doing, is trying to protect the Obama legacy with Iran, which, by the way, didn't work and only has created more trouble in that part of the world with Iran messing with people. So they took their plane load of cash, and this is how they're acting now. And do I want to go to war with Iran? No, absolutely not. But this is working. But instead, what CNN is doing, and now they're talking to this retired colonel who's their military analyst. I don't even need to turn that on to know what Cedric Leighton is talking about. He's probably undercutting every military strategy that President Trump is trying to achieve here, and so I don't need to turn that on. But that's what they do. They propagandize. Same thing with MSNBC. President Trump is rightfully saying we need to get this illegal alien thing under control here. And right now we got a bunch of people. They've already been through the process. They've sought asylum. They were denied asylum. Now they're running around free, and they need to be corralled and kicked out of here. So finally, President Trump threatened this and then decided not to do it, apparently because Nancy Pelosi called him. I don't know whether that's true or not. But whatever. And so he did. He rightfully said, okay, it's up to Congress again. Now it's up to the Democrats and Republicans who just sit on the sidelines anyway and don't lift a finger to help this guy or this country. or help the president and this country. They just sit around. President acts, they wander in front of microphones and talk about how they don't agree with whatever Trump is doing, but they're never actually doing anything themselves. They're just sitting around. What are they doing? I mean, is it my imagination, or does this look like President Trump is basically just on his own, handling the entirety of the problems that we face? And I don't know what these Democrats and what these Republicans are doing up there. I mean, you always hear from them when they don't agree with President Trump, but you never hear of them doing anything proactively at all. And it's infuriating. So now President Trump has to put it back to Congress. So in 2 weeks. So what are we gonna get at the tail end of the 2 weeks? Roy Blunt on Chris Wallace's show telling him he doesn't agree with rounding people up. I'm surprised he didn't go out there today or Sunday and talk about it, because that's what Republicans normally do. They go and they crap all over President Trump's endgame before it ends. They did that with the state of emergency declaration. President Trump, and I hate to repeat myself, I probably am, but you guys know the story. So, yeah, President Trump reopens the government and says, okay, I'll reopen it on the condition that you that you work out some kind of deal. Otherwise, I'm going to declare a state of emergency. And it didn't take but 12 hours for Roy Blunt to blather on a television show. He and Rubio and some of the other guys all saying they were against the state of emergency declaration even before they even started working. Drives me nuts, man. Drives me nuts. So when it comes to the immigration issue, President Trump is working his butt off to try to get something going. The Republican and Democratic Party are just standing idly by, not doing anything about it. And then MSNBC decides they're going to have this illegal alien, Antonio Vargas, who is the mainstream media's favorite illegal alien, as Newsbusters calls him. Like, this guy makes television appearances. And he wants U.S. citizens to go ahead and try to protect these people from being rounded up, even though they're not only over here illegally, they've already gone through a process of trying to get asylum and have been denied it. You know that's who we're talking about, right? We're not talking about just people minding their own business. These are people who've come over here, already went through the system, have been denied asylum, and are still running around. Those are the people President Trump's talking about. Here's Antonio Vargas. He's.
You yourself face this fear every day. How do we get people on the other side who think we don't care?
Antonio Vargas isn't the one going to be rounded up here. He's obviously an illegal alien, but I don't know whether he's had his court date or what it is, but they act like they're just going to run around plucking everybody up, which actually, to tell you the truth, ask any American, they probably prefer that. But instead, this corralling process is very limited to a very limited type of person, and that's the person who's sought asylum, been denied asylum, and is still here illegally. Antonio Vargas, though, wants you to help.
Parents brought them here. Who cares?
Actually,
or is it even worth trying?
I think it's, here's to me is the question. Maria Teresa was speaking to this. In addition to going on the streets and, of course, voting your conscience, the question now is, what are American citizens willing to risk? Like, what are you doing with your privilege? If you see someone getting arrested in front of you, if you see someone, you're riding a bus, you're on a train, ICE shows up, they ask for papers, what are you going to do? Are you going to protect the people on the bus, in the train, who can't show their papers because they don't have any?
Yeah, that'd be great. So let's just do this dimwits scenario there. And I always use the example of North St. Louis. I don't know why. I could use the example of Potosi. I'm not just trying to talk about black people. But I'll tell you one thing. It's already been on paper, statistically, that blacks suffer the most because of the invasion of illegal aliens, not whites, but nonetheless. So just an example. So you're on a Metro bus in North St. Louis or the Metrolink train, and you're a black guy going to a job to go and bust your rear end. You don't have a car because you can't afford a car, so that's why you're taking the bus. And you're just minding your own business, getting to work even if you don't have your own transportation, but you're going to work anyway. And you're working for a job that probably doesn't pay you much or whatever. And there's an illegal alien on the bus with you, enjoying all the benefits of being a U.S. citizen, but basically stealing them probably. And it's not even here legally. And Antonio Vargas wants the black guy busting his tail to get to work at a job that's thankless and probably doesn't pay him a whole lot. And he doesn't even own his own vehicle, to stand up and defend some illegal alien yahoo who's being pinched by ICE. That's in Antonio Vargas's world what he wants to see happen. Do you think that'll happen? Do you think the black guy just trying to mind his own business is going to go ahead and not only be late for work, but maybe even risk arrest to defend some troll who just squatting here in the United States of America? That's what Antonio Vargas, the illegal alien, thinks. And he calls it your privilege. Your privilege? Again, go up to North St. Louis and ask the people up there how privileged they feel. Go up north of Grand and ask the people how privileged they feel. Antonio Vargas ought to wander his fat rear end over to North Grand. I'd like to see him stand on a street corner and tell all those people about their privilege. That's what I would like to see. Stand on the corner, dude. Antonio Vargas, roll your R's and everything else and tell them about their privilege. That's what I want you to see. I want to see you do. Tell them about their privilege. Yeah, it won't sit well. Let's put it that way. It won't sit anywhere with these with these individuals who are getting screwed by the millions of illegal aliens who are here. So I'm not quite sure you're going to have the black guy go into a dishwashing job, risking arrest so that Julio can continue on squatting in this country illegally. Not quite sure that's really going to work out really well for them. And they won't do it. Because they don't Americans who are real Americans who are working their tails off, they don't have, you talk about privilege, Antonio Vargas is privileged. Joy Reid is privileged. Everybody who actually thinks that, because none of these people have dragged their butts down to El Paso or Yuma, Arizona, and looked at the suffering Americans are going through because they have a bunch of people who are sitting around illegally, taking all their resources, sometimes even getting free stuff from the government. I mean, they don't go down there. So they sit here on their television shows, on their multi-person panels, and just babble on and navel gaze about the whole thing, but they're not living real lives. So Antonio Vargas, his little fantasy is some black guy on a bus in North St. Louis saying, "Wait a second here, you can't arrest this." I'm going against a federal agent. That'll work out well. That'll work out great for the North St. Louis and trying to get to work without a car on the bus, intervening in a federal agent's arrest of an illegal alien. That'll work out great. Your phone calls are welcome. 844-855-1380. 844-855-1380. It's the calltammy.com real estate listener line.
Live from the Arrowhead Building Supply Studio, this is Allman in the Morning on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
Hey, home buyer, this is Tammy with Tammy Mitchell Hines & Company Real Estate. Let's face it, life is busy. Who has hours to sift through homes on the internet? Leave that to us. We are your personal real estate experts. We can let you know as soon as a house hits the market that would be perfect for you. I've been selling houses for over 23 years, and helping buyers find the perfect home is so exciting. Let us help you move today. Go to calltammy.com. That's calltammy.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, you know what? I have a surprise for you from my friends over at Rhino Shield, and that is an Allman in the morning and a Blues victory special for you. 15% off. This offer obviously is not going to last. We're still kind of enjoying the sunlight of the Stanley Cup, and we're still kind of in that mode right now. And we're happy as clams, but here's a way you can go ahead and take advantage of all of the great vibes coming from Blues Country. And you will get an Allman and Blues Appreciation Special, 15% savings from my friends over at Rhino Shield. This is a 25-year transferable warranty you're getting. It's 100% waterproof. It deflects 90% of the UV rays out there. It cures 10 times thicker than paint. They've had thousands of installs here. It's perfect for those of you who want to preserve and beautify whatever it is you have, which and it's all in one. The beautification level is great, and the preservation level is fine. So if you happen to have maybe that vacation home in the Ozarks that you don't want to paint and you don't want to take, it's hard enough already because it's a second home of yours, whatever. Do the Rhino Shield treatment on it and just kind of preserve it, lock it in. It's fantastic. It's perfect for unpainted brick. I don't know whether you've seen the Curb Appeal show on HGTV, but they'll show you what Rhino Shield does for the unpainted brick. And also it's featured on the This Old House, the TV show. So these guys are really good at what they do. And let me tell you something. They have the highest online ratings possible, an A+ rating with the BBB. You are not going to go wrong with my friends over at Rhino Shield, especially now with the Allman and Blues Appreciation Special being 15% in savings. So 877 25-RHINO, 877-25-RHINO, or go to 877-25rhino.com. Don't paint, don't vinyl, go Rhino Shield.
This is Jerry Boyer of Town Hall Finance for townhall.com. Well, we just found out that student debt is at an all-time high. It's just a whisker below $1.6 trillion. Yes, trillion with a T. But it's all worth it, right? Our young people need education. Not so fast. A new study shows the average freshly minted college grad makes almost $11,000 less annually than he or she expected. And it's true over a wide range of majors. What gave these young people such unrealistic expectations? One factor is easy to recognize: our serial exaggeration of the benefits expected from a degree. Making it worse, tuition has soared faster than almost any other expense category in our economy. Recruiters and marketers have in turn hyped the value of their institutions and their degrees. It's time to scrap the myth that all young people should go to college and that every school and every major is worth the price. The debt load is simply crippling. I'm Jerry Boyer.
Publicpolicy.pepperdine.edu. Hey, want to talk with Jamie? Call 844-855-1380. 844-855-1380. And interact with Common Sense Radio. This is Allman in the Morning on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
Good morning this morning, everybody. Good morning this morning. It's Corn with a K. Some people are wondering on Facebook, checking out my shirt, y'all. My Donald Trump boxer shirt as a boxer. I bought this in Philadelphia at the convention. Where was I? Oh, in Cleveland. What did I say Philly for? I don't know. I was in Cleveland for the 2016 Republican National Convention, and I bought this shirt. I should have bought 20 of them and resold them. You know what I mean? Because people love this shirt. And it's President Trump as a boxer, and Make America Great Again, and also says our next president. I like this shirt. I bought this right off the street. It's one of my favorites. And so you guys got a close up of it, and so I hope you're happy and hope you're loving that. All right, so let me get to I'll have to do this on the other side of the break because I gotta get to this great bit from Newsbusters because and by the way, did you all hear this show yesterday? I turned on this dreadful show yesterday with a bunch of chicks on it on Fox. What's that show? Is it Tommy Lahren or something like that? Oh, my goodness gracious. That's a horrible show. I mean, seriously. They're all like talking about how they're pro-choice because they're conservatives. I'm like, what? That whole deal? I mean, I obviously didn't think this Tommy Lahren chick should have been fired by Glenn Beck for saying that, but I mean, I don't think you should be fired for that. It's ridiculous. But still, the show, because I only hear it, like I get it on my radio. But once I got back from California and I was driving around and heard that with Aiden. I was driving around and it was just this show, like these women, it was so boring. And they're all trying to make this case for the conservative project. Did you guys hear that? Did you guys know that show? What is that show? Well, it's on Sundays, and I guess around 5 or so, or 5:30 or 6 or whatever it is. But boy, is that a terrible show. Yes, I'm pro-choice because I am conservative. I'm like, nah, that doesn't make.
Yeah, she tweeted that a couple of days ago and started a big storm on Twitter. The whole thing.
Gee whiz.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly.
Speaking for conservative women,
Yeah, right. I know.
Yeah.
I mean, I realize I admire you for trying to make that argument, but just say you're pro-choice. Have some guts and just say you're pro-choice and don't try to hide behind this. Well, it's because, I'm a conservative, a true conservative. So you're saying that people who are pro-life aren't true conservatives? That's what you're saying. So we've had enough of that ditzery, that's for sure. And that was a ditz convention there on that show. I don't know what that was, but boy, oh boy. I don't know why I was still listening to it. I finally punched out of it. I was like, what am I listening to? Why am I spending time listening to these people and their intellectual calisthenics? I'm pro-choice because I am against government intervention. Just like Ted Cruz. No, you're not. Doesn't make any sense. Maybe it does to you. 844-855-1380. The calltammy.com real estate listener line. It's Common Sense Radio. And speaking of Fox, a reporter is calling out the so-called abusive Trump crowd in Orlando. We'll talk about that, too.
With SRN News, I'm Rich Thomason in Washington. Tensions running high between the U.S. and Iran as the Trump administration readies new sanctions on the Islamic Republic. Retaliation for last week's shooting down of a U.S. Navy drone over the Strait of Hormuz. We expect to learn details of the new sanctions sometime today. And Secretary of State Mike Pompeo is visiting Saudi Arabia. He's held talks with the Saudi king and the Crown Prince. Pompeo seeking to build an international coalition against Iran. President Trump continuing to press the Federal Reserve, saying the stock markets and economic growth would be so much better if not for the Fed's actions. Mr. Trump says the Fed doesn't know what it's doing, hike interest rates too quickly. On Wall Street, stocks are higher. Right now, the Dow is up about 61 points. The S&P better by 3. More details at srnnews.com.
Stuck in traffic? We've got the answer on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
Oh, we've got a problem on 6440 eastbound. Now, you're stop and go between Lindbergh and Clayton-Warson. We have an accident at the top of the ramp from Clayton-Warson to eastbound 64. That's on the shoulder, but that is causing a backup. And we still have flooding. Maryland Heights Expressway is still down to one lane in both directions between Creve Coeur Airport Road and Creve Coeur Mill Road because of flooding. And your off-ramp from southbound 270 to eastbound 70, that's closed with road work until late August. And that's traffic. I'm Bonnie Green on 1380 and 105.3 The Answer, online at theanswerstl.com.
1380 The Answer. Weather.
Today, a shower or thunderstorm around this morning. Otherwise breezy with clouds giving way to some sun, high 82. Clear tonight, low 64. Tomorrow, partly sunny and warmer, high 90. Partly cloudy tomorrow night, low 70. For Wednesday, very warm with a mix of clouds and sun, high 89. I'm Cheryl Golden with your St. Louis Metro forecast on 1380 and 105.3 The Answer.
Hello, this is Dr. Jim Hankinson. Join me every Saturday morning at 11 a.m. for Back to Wellness as we explore different health segments like back and neck pain, diabetes care, nutrition, weight loss, and more. I will give you my analysis of this week's health news as we explore and talk about the latest health trends, and of course, I will answer your health-related questions. Back to Wellness every Saturday morning at 11 a.m. right here on 1380 and 105.3 The Answer.
Opening soon, the most amazing and user-friendly home exterior showroom in the entire Midwest. Arrowhead Building Supply's new St. Peter's facility simplifies life when it comes to choosing your new home exterior. Our 7,000 square foot showroom features a full-sized home as its centerpiece to give you a full perspective. It also includes the Arrowhead Cube home visualizer, allowing you to see what different products and colors will look like on your actual home before selections are made. Our massive product display wall is 100 feet long and 28 feet tall with more than 50 different roofing, siding, and stone ideas on display. Take the elevator up to the second floor mezzanine and view our show home at roof level. Learn and understand how exterior systems work, such as proper ventilation, and why they are so important to your home's health. While upstairs, visit our beautiful entry door interactive display and make an educated decision for your home's next entryway. Meet your contractor here or just come on in. You won't believe your eyes. ArrowheadBuildingSupply.com.
Quit eating burgers off a coffee table. If you want to eat a burger, put it on a bar. Fresh, juicy beef smashed till it's crispy around the edges, covered in gooey cheese, and stacked to the ceiling with deliciousness. Follow your instincts to Buffalo Wild Wings for the new All-American Cheeseburger.
This hour of Allman in the Morning is brought to you in part by Dr. Anna Smith. Come see what your smile can be at Dentistry with TLC.
Hey, don't just listen to Allman in the Morning. See the show at theanswerstl.com. Now, more Allman in the Morning on 1380 and 105.3 The Answer.
More corn. It's kind of like, we need more cowbell. We need more corn. Folks, I want to let you know that I'm very happy and I really do appreciate all the support you've given to the Alliance Defending Freedom. And I'm telling you what, you invest $100 in Alliance Defending Freedom and you are essentially helping to bankroll solid hours of work on behalf of an attorney who is working pro bono to defend Christians and conservatives who are intruded upon by the left-wing mob. Because I guarantee you the ACLU is not going to be there for you. They're not going to be there for the people who are standing up for their faith and what they believe in. So the Alliance Defending Freedom is your only hope. It's the one thing standing in between the left-wing mob and people who are righteously just simply exercising their faith and their First Amendment rights. The Alliance Defending Freedom, if you go to theanswerstl.com, you click on the ADF banner, I'm telling you, $100 will get you there and will go a long way to helping preserve our rights in the face of people who want to take them away. The baker who dares to decline to participate in somebody else's solemnity or whatever it happens to be, or the professor who is fired for saying something conservative in a classroom or whatever. I mean, you get the drill. But these people are left flipping in the wind without the Alliance Defending Freedom. These are lawyers who are working pro bono. They're working for free for these people. And so the more we can support them, the better. And I know the St. Louis crowd is really showing up well with the ADF folks, and I appreciate that very much. So you go to theanswerstl.com, click on the ADF banner, and you're in. Or you can call them at 866-700-1060, 866-700-1060. It is definitely a worthwhile way for you to contribute your hard-earned dollars to help defend freedom with the Alliance Defending Freedom. So I was watching this with some interest, this Fox reporter who is on the Howard Kurtz show. And it is, she's a business reporter. And the Howard Kurtz show featured the correspondent Christina Partsenevelos. I'm butchering the name, but I know it, you've heard her before. And she talked about how the crowd there at the President Trump rally was hostile. And I will tell you that, first of all, boo-hoo. And I would not want anybody to commit an act of violence against a reporter. But you know what? Suck it up, Buttercup. You might have fallen into this grouping of people who are deriding you, but the media is more than deserving of derision. And I'm glad that these Trump supporters and everybody else are giving him an earful. I mean, listen, you're the one with the microphone. These people don't have a microphone. They got to sit there and listen to all your colleagues crap all over them and call them all racist every single time you turn around. So pardon me if these people tend to raise their voice at you. Here's how it worked out on Howard Kurtz's show. I got the keep going. I want to hear this again.
Other times, a tourist.
I want to hear about the
always
suitcase you can plug your phone into.
Away makes luggage that can keep up, that powers you up, pushes you forward, and lasts for life.
Yeah.
This is luggage made for the way you actually travel.
Yeah, it's luggage that will power your phone, which means it's luggage you have to plug in. You got to remember to charge.
The attacks on me are really attacks on you, which I thought was an interesting device. It's all about the elites in the swamp.
And it's true. When President Trump says attacks on me or attacks on you, he's precisely right. And by the way, there should be no one in the media attacking him at all. But that's what they do. I mean, that's been part of their deal now. The media now is just simply an arm of the Democratic Party. They're not the media. They're worse than they've ever been. I mean, at one point you thought Sam Donaldson was the biggest pain in the rear in the media. Now you have 200 of Sam Donaldsons. These egomaniacal, self-important boobs up there in New York and D.C. Come on. So anyway, here's.
Were you surprised that your former boss was so prominently featured in the speech?
Not one bit. I don't know.
Expected the crooked Hillary?
I don't know why. I mean, it's one step away from him bringing a cardboard cutout, but I think you put something in my water because I agree
Hillary.
with Ben again on Donald Trump.
I was expecting like
Donald Trump. I mean, apparently you're a good influence on the two of us. Donald Trump just absolutely loves this, and this is what we're going to hear every day for the next 15 months, the same way we've heard it every day for the last 18 months and the year before that.
As I mentioned at the top, CNN and MSNBC did not carry through. CNN took about 5 minutes of it, then broke away. They said, well, anchor John Berman said, after about 4 minutes, it was all about attacks on the media. You were at the Orlando rally.
I was there all day.
How did it seem to you, and what's your take on two of the three cable news networks deciding that a re-election kickoff by a president was not worthy of being aired?
I think everybody was shocked at how much media was there. We were all on the riser. There were so many people, international media. I was surrounded by everyone. The crowd was very animated. However, several points throughout the night, not just from President Trump, everybody that spoke before him did call out the media. And me standing there, I'm not holding any Fox Business anything. Mm-hmm. The entire crowd turned to boo. One guy was taunting a reporter next to me, and I didn't even know what network he was from. And that environment is just so unfortunate because you need journalists to decipher everything that we're talking about.
Yeah, that's what we need. We need journalists to decipher everything we're talking about. I got news for you, Chicky Poo. No, we don't. And actually, we're kind of tired of you deciphering everything for us because we don't need you to decipher everything for us. I listened to that whole speech. It was outstanding. It was a beautiful speech. And I didn't have one person telling me what the speech was about. But you know why? Because I listened to it. I saw it, so I didn't need Kristen or anybody else to tell me what he said. Didn't need that at all. And so these people thinking that we're all just waiting for Kristen Papadopoulos or whatever the hell her name is to tell us what Trump is saying. We don't need to. We just heard him.
All the time, and hopefully, push out some wrongdoings and injustice. And it was unfortunate because it happened.
There were also the chants of CNN sucks from the crowd, which is at the time that CNN.
It does. CNN does suck. It's terrible. It's propagandized not only for the Democratic Party, but it propagandizes for our enemies like Iran. So yeah, CNN sucks. That's a true fact. And it's funny how the media always is they're always so snowflakey when it comes to attacks on them. Oh no, like we are not to talk at all, because they'll pull out the whole, we're the fourth estate, we're protected by the First Amendment, we're this, we're that, we're needed by you. You need us all the time whenever they're attacked. But then they'll turn around and blabber on their newscasts and everything else, and propaganda. So sorry, but we don't care if you get yelled at. We completely understand. And Donald Trump doesn't need to tell these people that CNN sucks. They just have to turn CNN on, and you can tell, and you can surely tell that CNN does suck. And I explained that to you early on, that it does. And again, this rally was great. The crowd was huge. There were people camping out for days before it even started. The rally even started. I mean, it was pretty darn amazing. And so if the media gets yelled at a little bit, maybe you want to police your own then, because here's what happens. Remember when Jim Acosta had his press pass taken from him because he was being such a creep? Fox News, Brett Baer, all these people, you shouldn't do, we're going to stand up for Jim Acosta and CNN. And what happens? The Democratic Party turns around and tells Fox News that they're not going to host any of the debates for the Democratic Party. So much for sucking up to the left on this one, guys, because it didn't work for you. They just turned around and kept you at bay. It didn't help you at all. And so these individuals aren't policing their own. Why don't they call Jim Acosta out ever for his behavior? I think that John Roberts did once, and that was it. John Roberts did once. But that's about it. Jim Acosta, by the way, his book is just going swimmingly there on Amazon. It's number 363 on the Amazon selling list. Fahrenheit 451 is beating Jim Acosta's book, and Fahrenheit 451, I think, has been out for maybe a half a century. And it's still selling far ahead of him. I mean, name a Dr. Seuss book, and it's selling more than Jim Acosta's little whiny baby Enemy of the People book. Nobody cares. Nobody knows who's he. No, really, to tell you the truth, nobody really knows who he is. Tell you, most people. And the same thing goes for, maybe people are wanting to read it on their Kindle. It's like, nope. It's even farther down the list on Kindle purchases. So, people still do Kindles? I guess they do. I haven't seen too many people do Kindles anymore. I thought that was all the rage at one point. All right, so as I promised you, the Newsbusters has a really interesting bit, and it's called Entertainment's Winners and Losers, the summer edition. So here's the winner is the Warner Brothers Entertainment's Looney Tunes revival. Have you been up on the Looney Tunes revival? So a refreshing twist, Warner Brothers has decided not to go the route of just simply changing everything. Their revival of their Looney Tunes franchise, because really, Daffy Duck and Porky Pig and Bugs Bunny, they were not really very politically correct. You know that, right? But Warner Brothers decided to put it out anyway. Here's a Looney Tune revival piece that they're putting out there. By the way, that's a big band sound, man, isn't it? I wonder who did that song. Who orchestrated that? Because that's some high-level orchestration right there. I didn't even remember that. You got to know there's somebody whose grandpa was playing the cymbals on that one. You know what I mean? Or playing the horn. Yeah, my grandpa. What's your grandpa? Yeah, my grandpa was one of the trumpet players in the Looney Tunes Open. Somebody out there can say that. That's amazing. I'm going to find out more about that. It's called Dynamite Dance. I love this. This is Elmer Fudd chasing Bugs Bunny with a axe, and then Bugs Bunny puts the piece of dynamite in his mouth and blows his head off. Now he's got big barrels of TNT. Now he's in a canoe chasing him and then blows him up again. Shoots him out of a log. So Bugs Bunny's just like throwing pieces of dynamite at Elmer Fudd. It's really, and generally, I mean, you know, this kind of violence wouldn't be generally acceptable, I guess, by some people's standards. But the reality is, it's very funny. You know, it's like those anvils that fall on people's, you know, that kind of stuff. It's pretty violent, but it's really funny. Here's another one, a loser. This is a loser. And this is Men in Black International. So in 1997, as you know, Will Smith and Tommy Lee Jones had the Men in Black. And one of the most successful releases ever for Sony, this Newsbusters. And then did the whole multi-million-dollar franchise, which includes an animated TV series and 2 sequels. But unfortunately, the spin-off film, Men in Black International, which has Chris Hemsworth in it and Tessa Thompson, decided to go woke on its audience and then bombed at the box office as a result. Maxie, did you see Men in Black International?
I did, and I did not enjoy it at all.
What was woke about it? Like, do you know what was woke about it, so to speak?
You know, I don't really think the movie got too woke. I'm not really sure where that's coming from, but the franchise itself is just tired. I mean, you pointed out that the first one was in 1997. I don't think anybody was clamoring for a 4th movie.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Men in Black International. I mean, I saw Chris Hemsworth. What was he in? He was in the latest Avengers movie. He was pretty good in that.
Yeah, he's Thor in the Avengers movie.
Thor was a great character in that one. I mean,
he's hilarious. He's very funny.
It's pretty damn funny, I'll tell you that. All right, so here's look at this. Another loser is the banana. You guys remember the banana splits? Phil, do you remember the banana splits? Don't be acting like you're all 30 or something. You remember the banana splits, don't you? No. Oh, come on. Go. The banana splits was this weird... like it was almost like it was people in costumes, you know. I think, yeah, it was people it was like HR Puffin stuffy, you know. It was like people in these fur costumes and stuff called the banana splits. So Looney Tunes may be back, but the people behind the revival of the banana splits, which was produced by actually NBC Universal's Sci-Fi Channel, it made it an R-rated horror movie, rather than an all-out revival of the classic Banana Splits series. So they made a Banana Splits horror movie. I don't even really want to get into. Because again though, I wouldn't go see it, but for people who are new to the game, I'm sure that the Banana Splits horror movie was great. But the Los Angeles Times says that the synopsis is similar to the popular survival horror video game Five Nights at Freddy's. So they decided to make the Banana Splits evil, which really doesn't work. It's like making Speed Racer evil. You really shouldn't be doing that. Yeah. So the Banana Splits, I think, it was a cartoon live action mixture. I think I can't exactly remember. I don't remember being very into that show. Same with Lancelot Link, the monkey, the chimp. You don't remember Lancelot Link? Well, they had a show where they had monkeys, and they just basically make them chew on something and make them talk, So you have a monkey chewing on a. They probably gave him gum or something, and then they would do the voice. So it looked like it never looked like the monkey was talking. You know what I mean? They always try to make it look like the monkey's talking, but even as an 8-year-old, I'm sitting there going, that monkey is just eating like a peanut or something, and they're putting a voice into it.
That's what they did to Francis the Mule.
Yeah,
I think, too.
yeah, I know.
Yeah.
At least Francis the Mule they tried a little bit to make the horse look like he was talking. They would have given it peanut butter or something. Yeah. And they put the voice down. It's like, but the Lancelot Link thing was terrible. I think at one point they just quit trying to do that and just had them just not even moving their mouth, but talking like as if they're, I don't know. Lancelot Link. I don't know. I'd love to know what they were feeding them to make them look like they were talking, but it didn't work. I never bought it for a second. All right, the 844-855-13. Well, first of all, I knew monkeys didn't talk. So, I mean, I wasn't like surprised to learn.
You weren't buying that, huh?
Yeah.
No.
That's
not real.
Yeah. That's fake. That monkey talking. I was like brilliant even at that age. I was really analytical.
Right, yeah.
I was sharp.
How old were you when this was
Sharp
on?
as a tack. I don't know. I was like 9 or 10.
Oh, okay.
I was sharp as a tack, though, wasn't I?
Right.
That monkey's not really talking. Come on. All right. 844-855-1380.
More Allman in the Morning coming up on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
Summertime in St. Louis. If you hate to paint, do what your neighbor Mr. Rob Miller from Harvesttown Auto Body in St. Peters did. He called Rhino Shield. Rob, what was the thought process for going with Rhino Shield as a business owner?
My family's business is over 10,000 square feet, and it did not have the curb appeal I wanted.
Rob, tell everyone how the experience was with Rhino Shield from start to finish.
The process that I liked was when you came out, you gave me all of these options that would fit my building. Our building was really faded. I don't want to have to paint my building again. 25 years is a long time to not have to worry about the outside maintenance of your building as far as paint. That's a no-brainer. That's why Rhino Shield worked for me.
Are your neighbors jealous?
I would be if I was them.
Thanks, Rob. Now it's time to call 877-25-RHINO. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com. Genius.
No paint, don't Rhino. Go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, Matthew Mitchell, the Matthew Mitchell Allstate Agency. He is going to give you a great deal when it comes to your low premiums and low deductibles all at the same time. And also, by the way, we talked a little bit about this because we've had a really bad stormy spring. And, of course, first day of summer just a couple days ago, it's finally maybe behind us. But lots of people are still filing their claims, and lots of people are finding out that their insurance coverage isn't as good as they thought it was. And I guarantee you're not going to, if you're with Allstate Agency, you're not finding that out. You're actually happy. But if you're with somebody else, you're probably discovering that it's just not adequate. So Matthew is encouraging you, if you're just finding out that other policy you have isn't working for you, and you're not getting the kind of low premiums, low deductibles, and you're basically not able to file a claim because the deductibles are too high anyway, then tear it up and go to Matthew, or let him review it, let him tear it up and take you in, because that's the kind of promise he's going to give you. He's going to give you real insurance company, insurance coverage you can trust and that you're not going to be surprised by. And he'll point out all the things that are kind of you're overpaying for as well. So he's got specials for young drivers too, which is great. Usually it costs a lot of money to insure a young driver. Not with the Matthew Mitchell Allstate Agency. Your home policies are fantastic. He even has life insurance policies for you as well. So check it out. 855-QUOTE-ME. That's 855-QUOTE-ME. It's the Matthew Mitchell Allstate Agency.
KXFN St. Louis, K287BY St. Louis.
Are you ready to sell your house but don't know who to trust with a listing? I'm Tammy Mitchell-Hines, and I sell a house every 30 hours. From staging your house to filling out the paperwork, my team is here to guide you step by step through the process of selling your house and getting the most value from it. Go to calltammy.com and let us do the work for you. If you buy or sell with me, you can use my moving truck for free. Go to calltammy.com. That's calltammy.com.
Listen to Allman in the Morning with Alexa. Wake up and say, Alexa, play The Answer St. Louis. Now, back to Allman in the Morning on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
There he is. Like, I'm not generally I'm not like one of these animal rights activists, but I've never enjoyed circuses, and I barely think zoos are acceptable, in all honesty to you. I don't think a tiger belongs anywhere but where tigers ought to be living. You know what I'm saying? An elephant. I'm reason to keep an elephant captive. You know what I mean? And half the time, even with the St. Louis Zoo, you can't even see the animals because they're trying so hard to make it realistic for them that you don't even see them. You're just reading a kiosk about the lemur, you know. Where's the lemur? Well, you know, we're trying to make this all natural. Oh, then why have a zoo at all? Why don't you send them back to where they need to go? So anyway, but the Lancelot Link thing, that seemed to be a level of abuse. You know what I mean?
I Googled it and I saw pictures, man. I can't believe the stuff they did to that monkey.
Well, they had a whole crew of them.
They
would put wigs on them.
Oh, he's riding a chopper.
Yeah.
I mean, dude.
Yeah, they put wigs on. One of them was wearing a monocle. And you know, they had to like glue the monocle to the monkey's face. There's no monkey's going to wear a monocle. Hell, most humans can't even wear a monocle, you know? In fact, the only person ever really wore a monocle successfully was Colonel Klink. You know what I mean? Nobody really wears a monocle. Maybe they did in the old days. I don't know. And we will wear a monocle again like we did in 2016 and 2020 when we have the Double Dutch bus celebration when all the freaks are out protesting the results of the election. We're gonna be blaring out "Happy Days Are Here Again," dressed up like Mr. Peanut. You know what I mean? Tuxedo, top hat. Although we won't actually dress up like Mr. Peanut, but we'll have the top hat, the monocle, and we'll just roll it out for everybody. But until then, we're in a monocle-free show here at Allman in the Morning. Good morning this morning. Have a great rest of your day tomorrow. Judge Napolitano coming back. It's Common Sense Radio. Have a good one.